What up, peeps? Welcome to the Timeless Gamer Show, where our games and our bars may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. Hey, it's Timeless, and this podcast is now streaming live in Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And for all of our old episodes, check out our YouTube channel, Timeless Gamer Show, or by going to our official website, timelessgamers.com. Search Timeless Gamer Show in your favorite platforms where you get your usual podcast and then send us your messages by going to timelessgamers.show at gmail.com. And we would also like to take this opportunity to show our appreciation to BitMap Books and Streamyard for allowing us to be one of their official affiliate. Hey. And previously, in the Timeless Gamer Show, we have concluded our our documentary review of Power On, the story of Xbox. Okay, that was a part two of it. Very engaging show that was. We Sir Jose did mention to us in our group chat. Oh, we forgot to bring our own individual ratings. Hey, well, we were here. All of us are here anyway, except for Sir JDM. I'd say Power On. Let's just do this now. Power On, the story of Xbox documentary rating,
Mm.
guys. Sir Joel,
Plain and simple. I'd say it's a 9 out of 10. Great
9 out of
production
10. Oh,
values. Very enlightening, and great production values. Very enlightening and not boring at all. Very different from the usual documentary.
thank you for that, Sir Joel, and of course, Sir Jose rating.
Yeah, that's a 9 out of 10 for me too. Great story. Lots of information you didn't probably know. Just and if you weren't a fan or didn't have much knowledge or respect for the brand, you'd probably come out with a different point of view after.
Thank you for that, Sir Jose. How about Sir Viraj? Your rating of Power On, the Xbox story.
Yeah, it was very good. I'd probably give it the same as the other two.
All right.
Short and
9 out of
sweet.
10.
A must watch for me. I'd
Mhm.
say if Sega or Atari or Sony produce the same kind of same quality documentary of their own, not being too afraid uh, to shoot themselves in the foot, just admitting to their mistakes, giving credit where credit is due as well, giving props to the people within their hierarchy, would have been nice. But hey, Xbox, yeah. For this episode, we are talking about working as as an employee in a video game shop. You know, uh, every kid, you know what? If it's not a toy store, that's the next best thing of a kid wants to be growing up. But not at all. It's not all. It's not everything where it cracks up to be. Okay, but don't take it from me. Take it from these guys. These guys right here. These guys right here. They've been in this show for quite some time, but you guys may not know they did work in a video game shop. All right. So we got Sir Joel, Sir Jose, and Sir Viraj right here, going to talk to us all about their experiences, what stories they can share, and maybe share some war stories as well within themselves. All right. So, but before we do that, let's do our usual show and tell. Okay, it's been a while. All right. In this segment, we just show and brag the things that we have acquired for the last few weeks, whether it's physical, digital, gaming, music, movies, books, anything nerdy culture. So let's start with Sir Jose. What you got?
Just got a few stuff that I picked up from a GameStop, and then some stuff from one thing from Woot that just came in. So I got for PS3 the Ratchet and Clank collection.
Nice.
Um, also
Been
for
meaning to start off
PS3,
on that one. Yeah, the Ratchet and Clank
the,
series.
the Sly collection,
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Like Cooper.
uh, Capcom Fighting Collection
Oh, that's
2
full Switch, yeah.
with comic. um,
Nice.
Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2. This was
Mhm.
$10 at Walmart, so I couldn't just leave it there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
Mhm.
then this is from Woot, which I think Sir Joe will like.
Mhm.
So
Oh yeah, Trail Through Daybreak.
yeah,
I
it's
didn't
$35. So I was like, well, might as well.
I don't even know how far along in the storyline that one is. I mean, Joe would know. If you were to start off on Trails in the Sky, Joe, how far along would Trails Through Daybreak be?
Earth in the Sky.
Yeah, if you start from Trails in the Sky, go where is Trails in Daybreak in the timeline?
How many hours?
No, I mean how far along? If you started off
Oh,
with
how far along? Okay.
yeah, in terms
Uh,
of storyline, like is
you
it
got
100 years later or something?
Oh
Or
no, like
Mhm.
everything for all that time span from tits 1 up until daybreak 2. Yeah, we call it tits. Well, I call
Okay,
it tits. Trails in the sky.
It's
okay, fine.
Yeah,
I will
you
accept
got
that.
yeah,
Acceptable.
yeah. I
We'll
got
call it
tits.
the Tit
So
series.
tits
Okay.
1, tits, the first tits, the second tits, and the third tits.
I'm sorry I asked.
You know what? Actually, the Falcom Facebook group don't really like that term.
But we're using it here. We're
I
using
mean,
it here.
I mean, some appreciated the humor of it, and I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
I didn't realize it was like that. Okay,
Okay.
wink, wink. Anyway, every from the first test all the way to daybreak, I'd say within 10 years.
10 years. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, it's
because when you started out with the first hits, see, I'm committing to it right now. When you get to know the characters from the first hits all
hmm
the way when you reach daybreak,
hmm
you've seen them grown up from
uh,
the teenagers they are to the young
hmm
adults that they from the uh, preteens that they were during the first hits
hmm
now becoming young adults by the time you reach daybreak.
Hmm.
So
I
a lot of character development all throughout the years, and of course the world building as well.
once I start off on it, I'm definitely gonna have to commit
It's
to it.
daybreak, trails of daybreak,
Fine.
two.
trails TODB.
All right. Nice. Thanks very much for that one, Jose. Who wants to go next? Viraj.
In terms of my pickups, I've got a whole bunch of other stuff with it, but this thing, Donkey Kong Bonanza for Nintendo Switch 2. It's in my Switch. I'd open the box. There's nothing in there. Game's actually in the Switch. I've been enjoying this immensely. It has been nominated for Game of the Year. Well, I think it has anyway. So it's one of the contenders that's there. A lot of fun, and it's got a nice challenge curve as well for what it is. And yeah, made by the makers of Mario Odyssey, and that game got a BAFTA award, and it deserved the award. So I'm looking forward to getting more into this game. I also got like that pillow that came with it that you could put your hands in and sleep in, but it's got a tear in it, so I have to return it back to Nintendo. But I also got the bag with it as well, but I haven't got that with me unfortunately. But they're on Nintendo's UK site, so you can have a gander at all the little extras that they're offering with this game, with the amiibos and all that other stuff. But the core game itself is really what matters. And if you've got a Switch 2, I would say this is an essential buy because you must be getting bored of Mario Kart World by now. But this is the next sort of main, like this is the flagship title. This is what's going to power the system towards Christmas time. You've seen all the promotion. Obviously, this has been heavily promoted in the press here in the UK, and I've seen it online elsewhere. Definitely their sort of gold star title, at least until Metroid Prime Beyond comes out. But definitely one to pick up. And I think one of the biggest criticisms of Switch 2 had, I just want to add this very quickly, is there wasn't enough games on it. And it's actually very clever what Nintendo did, which was they launched a system with Mario Kart World, and that's it. And they pretty much sold out of a lot of Switch 2s everywhere else. And now there's another, they've reloaded their shotgun and put this out. So this would also help shift the system. And then when Metroid Prime Beyond comes out, and that's where the adults will probably buy the game, that's much more mature in terms of how the game is presented. I think that'll be their next sort of load for the Christmas period. So that's 3 really good apps for the Nintendo Switch 2. If that easy for you to your cup of tea for it, and there's a whole bunch of other things. Other news is very quickly. I read this is on the Spawnways channel how Sega have sort of done a U-turn on the game card key thing. So Sonic Crosswords Racing, the Switch 2 edition, the Switch 2 edition will be a full card now. So Sega saying, okay, we obviously they haven't done really well with the Sonic Shadow Generations. They haven't done well with Yakuza 0 because people are very much against the game card fee. I know you gentlemen are as well. But if the game is on there and you pay a little extra, why not? And that's what they're doing in Crossroads Race. So instead of $44.99, the game will be £60, but you're paying for the full game that's on there. But we'll see when it happens next year. But yeah, all good stuff for the moment. Over to you guys. Back to you guys.
Retro LUK, just want to give a shout out to Serbi Raj. A great pickup with DK. Started it last night, and it's a fun one. Enjoying the destruction.
Yeah.
Spot on for Switch 1. They drip fed releases over the first year. Launch titles weren't all that. There you go.
That was Switch 1. Switch 1 was very anemic on launch. A lot of people forget that, and it started to really do well. I think Switch 2 has had a lot more, but people want more, and the expectations are greater because of Switch 1. But we'll see as time goes on. Right. So
next up, Sergio, what you got for the class?
All right. So with the recently concluded Amazon Prime Day, they put a lot of video games into my magical price point, which is $20 and below. If I am waiting for a video game to go on sale, my magical price point will always be $20 and below. Anything above that is a hard pass for me unless it's something that I'm really waiting for. A recent Amazon Prime Day, I got a few. One of them is a Real Farm Premium Edition. For those of you who know me, you guys know that I love my farming games.
Yeah.
A Real Farm Premium Edition for the Switch. You get to grow potatoes. That's a good thing. And something on the other end of the spectrum is the Final Fantasy 1 to 6
wow.
collection,
What?
the anniversary edition. Yes, this
On
went on
sale.
sale.
Amazon
Yes,
on
absolutely. Amazon Prime went
How
on
much
sale.
was it?
I snagged it for $19.99.
The
Luckily.
bargain.
What?
Absolutely. It was one of those
Whoa,
limited time
really?
things where you see the bar going up, how many people are snagging it. I think it was only on there for about 30 minutes. I just got lucky. So I got Final Fantasy 1 to 6 collection on the Switch for 20
Holy
bucks.
shit.
Then something that Miss Hinu will absolutely love, My Sims, the Cozy Bundle. She's been looking forward to this game for the longest time. Same thing, one of those, limited time things. I snagged it for $19.99. Then, Joe, I think you were kind of looking forward to this one, Fantasian Neo Dimension.
There you go. Yeah, it's not on
For
sale. Yeah.
for the Nintendo Switch. I think you mentioned that this was originally a mobile game. I'm not quite sure if this was what you were talking about. But yeah, this one is, I think, by the same guys who originally developed the Final Fantasy series, right?
From Sakaguchi, Beast Walker, yes.
There you go. Fantasia Neo Dimension for the Nintendo Switch. Now over to the blue side, which I swore I would never collect for, but the bargains were there, and I just had to snag them up as well. There's Ambulance Life, a paramedic simulator from Nacon. I like these guys. I like these guys, the Nacon guys who do simulations. They also did
okay.
Test Drive Unlimited. They also did Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. So yeah, you might go for this, Joe. Ambulance Life, a paramedic simulator. This might be right
Actually,
up your alley.
I am looking for a medical simulation kind of
yes.
video game.
You might like this one, Ambulance Life. You might want to
Yeah,
check
I
that
mean,
out.
yeah, because we have our simulation episode coming anyway. I might try that out.
And now this is another RPG. This one is set in modern day Tokyo. It's
Oh
Reinatis.
God,
Yeah, this one also
Reinatis.
went on sale. Yeah, I think this has
hack and slash.
physical
You're all alone.
There you go. Yeah, a physical layout of the Harajuku section of Japan. I could be wrong on that one, but yeah,
Yes.
it looks like it's that one. The crossroads, where the famous crossroads that's almost normally in an aerial shot of Japan whenever you visit. And of course, Sir Dan is gonna hate this. Final Fantasy 16. Yeah, it went. What do you
It's a
call it?
bargain.
Appropriately enough, it went on sale for $16. Final Fantasy 16. So that's the reason I
16
got
for
it. So
16.
16 for 16. I just waited for those those timed events where you could see the bar going down. Final Fantasy 16 for $16. I couldn't resist. So Dan, sorry about that, but a bargain is a bargain. Back
A
to you,
bargain's
Joe.
a bargain.
It's your choice. It's your
Now,
choice,
unfortunately, the Australian Amazon Prime sale was is bullshit. So I only managed to snag one game over there. The PS5 version of Fantasian,
Ah,
Neo Dimension,
Nice. Okay.
and then our own version of GameStop, which is EB Games,
EB
Electronic
games.
Boutique.
Yes.
You all these right there.
Mhm.
I got this half the price. Originally
Oh.
$100, but
Hmm.
now $57.
Very good. Nice.
Fairy
Nice.
Tale 2.
Mm.
Um, so it's a turn-based JRPG with a party, of course, with
Hmm.
characters from the manga anime Fairy
Hmm.
Tale. All right,
Ooh, I may have to get
lots of guys with
that.
abs and lots of girls with boobs.
You
All
know,
right.
I keep I'm being a noob here, but I keep mistaking. I keep confusing the two. It's either One Piece or Fairy Tale. They seem so similar. I don't know in
They
terms of
are
theme. I could
similar.
be wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. um, and then this one went also on sale, half the
Mm,
price, originally for $100, but now it's $57.
mm,
Unfortunately, they couldn't. There's no markdown price tag on it, so they
mm.
gave me a brand new sealed copy instead.
Very good. Very good.
Final Fantasy
Oh, nice.
Seven Rebirth, which is the
Yes.
second
awesome.
game
Yeah.
Mm.
from the remake that they're doing right now. I still got the
Receipt.
receipt
Mhm.
showing that yeah, it's $57. Okay.
Oh
Mhm.
wow. Okay.
Only Joe would complain that because of the fact that they couldn't find an open copy, that they had to give him a sealed one. You know.
No, because yeah,
Oh,
I mean, always go for the sealed copy, guys.
Yeah.
And
There
then
you go.
this one didn't really went on sale, but
Hmm.
because this game in particular, when it was first announced, um, like the first week it got sold out, and
Mm.
I was lucky to snag one, and I was not even sure if they're going to restock it.
Mm.
Expedition 33,
Very
Clair
nice.
Obscure.
Clear Obscure Expedition
nice.
33.
Yeah,
That one is almost impossible to get physical here in the US. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, when I asked them, are you going to restock this? Because I was thinking maybe I should wait, and they
Mm.
said, the guy said, actually, there's a lot of people asking for this game, and we're
Mm.
not sure when we're gonna get a restock.
Yes.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I said, "Oh fuck it, let's just do it."
Yeah.
You got to be
That's one.
Anyway,
That's one
because
of the special circumstances. I agree that you go for it full
mm,
price when
yeah.
you're out. You're pretty sure that it's not going to be there anymore. Viraj, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that, which is with games like that, and this is just something I've noticed, which is they only have one print run because the developers or publishers may think the demand and the market research is saying it's only going to be this and that's it.
Mm.
And with
Yeah.
obscure RPGs or games that are of that nature,
Mm.
they're only going to sell so many. So I would always say it's a good shout just to buy it. I know it's
Yeah.
FOMO and I'm spreading FOMO, but
Mm.
that category of game, just buy it and be happy with it because otherwise you'll just have buyer's remorse.
No, 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 no. In your case, Viraj, it's a very valid thing. It's not even FOMO. It's reality. A lot of
Yeah.
people, lot of developers kind of undershoot their projections,
Mm,
especially with a really, really good game. So
mm,
in this case, Clair Obscure, they underestimated the demand for this one. A lot of people here in the US are clamoring for a physical copy. They can't get one. Okay. Yeah. Fine, fine. I completely agree with that one as well. Okay. Anyway, back to you, Joe.
there you go.
all right.
All right, so
Yes.
that's all for us.
Mhm.
All right, so let's go ahead with the show proper this time.
Mhm.
So, working in a video game shop.
Mhm.
Okay, now there's a lot of misconceptions. There's a lot of wishful thinking
Mhm.
about people wondering what's it like, working there, and you would think that, oh, uh maybe if I work there, I'll get some discounts, by employee discounts on some games. Maybe I'll know some information beforehand, but you know what, that's just me.
Mhm.
Let's just ask these guys, okay? So we have prepared a few questions here for the gentlemen in
Mhm.
attendance.
Yes.
So what we'll do, so there's a structure in our program. Um, Sir Sir Viraj will answer first, and then Sir Jose, and then Sir Joel. Why? Because sometimes Sir Viraj can go really off tangent at times. But at least if he knows there's someone else going to talk after him,
Mm.
he'll keep it short.
It's although Viraj, when Viraj does go on his tangents, tends to be semi-related to the basic premise anyway. It's just a matter of the way that Viraj's brain works is
This is
that
going
it's
off on a
all
tangent. Let's
connected.
just get on with it. This is going off on a
No, no,
tangent.
fine, fine, fine. Okay.
All right. So for the first question,
Mm.
how old were you? And so how old were you when you first got the gig? Okay, so
Oh,
that question is
Mm.
for all of you. So Sir
For
Viraj, you
everybody.
go first.
I was 16. My
16.
first job,
16.
16.
16.
Okay.
Shit. Sir Jose.
With that question of how old were you, does it include the circumstances of how you got it?
Yeah. Yeah, go
Okay.
on
Well,
ahead.
I'll explain. So the company I worked for was called Dixon's, and Dixon's is obviously the brand has changed to Curry's. They're still around. They're just trade under a company called Curry's now, and they're basically the Best Buy of Europe. They're the second largest electronics retailer. So it wasn't just video games they sold. They sold televisions, cameras, um, laptops, and computers, and all sorts of things. But the job that I got was a Saturday job, and it was working on a Saturday looking after the game section and certain areas or whatever, but predominantly it was the game section to begin with. And we're talking 2000 to November was when I was just before November, October, November, I was employed. And, it was a time where my uncle was one of the managers. My father was a manager for the company many years ago, and they had contacts. So it was a case of who I knew, not what I knew. I mean, what 16-year-old would get a job in a job like this? So I feel very privileged, and I'm very grateful to those who pulled the strings to get me the job, including my first manager, Dave Kitchen, who's still about. I started off as a 16-year-old. Learning the ropes from other more experienced people in this consumer electronics business. But gaming is something that I knew about because I played this stuff, right? What 16-year-old doesn't love the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube? And they were the main three systems at the time. And of course, there was the Game Boy Advance. I knew people and they helped me get in, and I still had to interview for it, but they thought, okay, we can build on this guy. Obviously, what 16-year-old has experience, right? So they helped me and they trained me, and there are people that have trained me, and I'll obviously mention them when the other relevant questions are posed to me in this segment. But yes, I was a very young man at the time, and green as anything. But I found it really fascinating doing that Saturday job.
Follow-up question. So you said you work as a 16-year-old. What is this? A full-time or part-time? Because I'm imagining. So what's the legal age for guys in the UK to work?
Yeah, so 16 is the legal age to work in the UK. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Right. So I was just literally of working age, but I was in college at the time, and this was a Saturday job. Sort of fund my education, get experience, because one of the things that happens with young people when they start working, well, if they don't work, they go straight to university and they never had a job. It's very hard to get a job because whilst it's always good to have a qualification in whatever university or what college degree you have or whatever, it's always good to have experience. And my father wanted me to have experience working in this sort of environment. And selling is a very basic skill. It's an important skill to have, I think. And there are some people that just still can't sell. But at first I found it very difficult. But as time went on, I watching my other peers that I was working with. I learned how to sell things. But yeah, 16 is the legal age to work. It was a part-time job.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. How about you, Sir Jose? How old were you when you first got the gig, and elaborate on why?
Why? I was 25 when I started working there. And why? I always wanted to work at a GameStop. It was like one of those things when you're growing up and you're like, oh, like it'd be cool to work at a video game store. And not for the lack of trying. I tried to get hired at the 5 or 6 we had here, and they just never did. And then like literally the next town over, it's like not even that far, it's like 5 minutes away from me. They were opening a GameStop, and I was like, oh really? But it, like, you had to drive 20 minutes to another town to drop off your application because that's where the manager was at that was going to open that store. And I was like, I don't know if I want to go all the way over there just to drop off application, but I did anyway. And then, like, it was not even like a few days later, they were like, oh, we're going to have interviews, but we're going to have them in town. And then, I guess she that was a manager. She was a woman. She ended up liking me, and she was just like, "Oh yeah, like, I'll offer you the job." And I remember I waited forever, didn't hear anything. At the same time, I was applying for a different job, and I had said yes to the second job. And not even an hour later, I get a call from GameStop, and they're like, "Oh hey, like, we want to offer you the job." And I was like, "We'll give you to the end of the day to think about it." And I was like, damn it, I just said yes to this other job. And I was like, what do I do? And then, long story short, I ended up working 2 jobs for like 2 years back to back. So it was not a fun time around the holidays because literally between the 2 jobs, as soon as the holiday season started, my only days off were Thanksgiving and Christmas. So for like from September all the way to the end of the year. So
we got a question here from Sir Ed, but we will get into that question right after Sir Joel's answer. Sir Joel, same thing. How old were you and the circumstances behind that?
I was 45 years old. Okay, I was 45 years old when I got my job at GameStop, which is the same company that Viraj worked for, except here in New Jersey.
He meant
Bro,
Thursday.
look, I work for Game. You're the right person.
Sorry, Jose
Yeah.
mentioned. Yeah, sorry about that. I was looking at Barrage for a moment there, and
Dixon.
my mind defaulted. But yes, I was working at GameStop, and the circumstances were I was working at a different department store at Kohl's. I was
Yeah.
working in a warehouse, in the warehouse portion, unloading trucks and everything. It was a lot of fun. Working at Kohl's was a lot of fun. The atmosphere was friendly, a lot of nice people, but the work was backbreaking. The whole year round, you were basically unloading trucks, lots of big boxes, lots of stocking shelves. Although they did recognize my panache for selling stuff, that's why they always put me on the floor. So it's kind of like ping pong between unloading boxes and talking to people. But when the opportunity came, GameStop put up their sign saying we are now hiring. I thought it should be unloading gigantic boxes from a truck. So I put in my application, went in there, did the interview, went in there wearing a suit because that's what we old folk do. When you go into an interview, you wear a suit. And the guy who interviewed me said, it was said that afterwards, after the interview, said he was thinking, "Is this a prank? Because this guy is coming in here wearing a suit, doing an interview, whereas anybody who comes in here does an interview is usually a kid wearing what
Being too formal.
cargo
Okay.
shorts, yeah, cargo shorts or t-shirts or things like that." But yeah, I knocked it out of the park. They knew
I
from
mean,
the
they
way.
have to. I mean, you're the only one who came with the suit.
Exactly, yeah. And I describe my experience in terms of sales, in terms of marketing, which is exactly what they were looking for. Because to be perfectly honest, this segues into one of our main topics. Working in a game store is not fun in games. It's all about sales. It's all about marketing. It has nothing to do with fun, honestly. You're selling the fun. You
Oh,
yourself are not having the fun. So yes,
right.
I
But
got that job back in 2018 going into 2019. Yeah, and it was fun, but it was still backbreaking labor more on here than in your spine. But yeah, you were about to say, job.
so let's ask this question coming from Retro Educate.
Mm,
For all of you guys,
yes,
did you guys get staff discounts at all?
yes, yes.
So Viraj, go
Yeah, I got 10% discount. That's what I
ten
got.
percent.
That's it. Yeah,
Mm.
that's how.
Thursday,
Yeah, it was 10% as well for me.
really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or Joel?
10%. although I don't recall if the pre-orders had a discount. If I remember correctly, the pre-orders had no discount, right, Jose?
They didn't when you pre-ordered them, but as
Mm,
soon as you checked out, like the day that they were out, then
yeah.
it would apply it.
That's true.
So,
That's true. Yeah.
so then they would be like, "Do you want to put what's left on another pre-order because pre-orders
Mhm.
count?"
Yes, that's true. That's true. It was little thing. It was little thing niggling in my mind because of the fact that I didn't recall if pre-orders were included because they really put an emphasis on day one release and pre-orders being full price. But I guess I was so focused on how much I was trying to move in terms of merchandise, pre-owned and the relatively less new merchandise. Yeah. Hmm.
Mm.
Okay, so another question would be, so you guys mentioned about the interviews.
Mm.
My question would be, is it really necessary that you have a gaming background, or it's more of, just the usual stuff?
I
Sir
would
Viraj.
I'd like to take this one. I would say with any job that you go for, and this is for any young person out there or someone who's unemployed and looking for jobs, it's always good to sort of research the company you work for, know what it is that the corporation is about, and understanding what it is. If you go into the interview, and it's always good to have questions for the interviewer as well. So even though the job, you could argue the job was pretty handy because my uncle knew the manager, and they all worked for the same company. I was also up against other teenagers who were going to college as well. And I think fundamentally, within the first 5 minutes, if they like you, you're dressed in a suit, you look good, and you're ready to work, they'll give you the job. I'll tell you that now. Like I dressed up in a suit, wore a tie, because I went to school. I had to wear a shirt and tie. You tie it up, and you look presentable. Not like this, but you look presentable for the interview. You go there, you sit there, and you answer the questions. And if you don't know the answer, you say you don't know. Don't lie, because they'll know if you're blagging it. Say, sorry, I don't know the answer to that question. Or I don't know what you mean by that. Sorry, this is beyond me. But I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to know how that works. Because they were asking me questions about televisions, and I didn't know about TVs. I thought, I didn't know what a CRT even stood for then. I thought, I know about TVs. I have to tune one in. I can tune them in for you. I can work out that on the remote without even doing it. So that's what they wanted to hear, not like, what do I know, what the difference between Trinitron is, and what the difference between Quintrix is, and the difference between Sony and technology. I learned that afterwards. You're not expected to know that, but you're expected to know various things. I went on about games because that was my forte, but they weren't really looking for anyone about games because they had a guy called Darren who took care of the games. But
Oh.
Darren was being tasked to work in the audio department or do different things, and he did say this job isn't just about games; it's about looking at other facets of the Storm's business. But it's all right. It's good to have someone who knows about games, and it's good because games is a good percentage of our business. So he was happy with that. He was happy to have someone young on the team as well. Young people are malleable, and I think that's what Dave said to me. I like that because you can, as long as you're willing to learn, you're willing to listen to instructions. That's great. Not that he proved to be a very good manager, but I'm not going to say he was a bad manager at the same time. I don't want to badmouth the poor guy. But in terms of my development, he left a year later and I had another manager come in. So that was another story altogether. But in terms of interviews, look smart, answer, know what you're talking about. If you don't know what you're talking about, ask the question. So I don't know. Be earnest and honest and just do your best you can. And it's always good to answer people methodically. That's what I would say when it comes to interviews. But anyway.
All right.
I just
Thank you
want
for
to say
that,
hello
sir.
to Josh Hunt who joined us because he said hello in the chat, and Ed Hunt, Retro Ed.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a customer of mine at the gaming markets, and he's obviously seen me post this on my Facebook. And he's like, let's tune in.
Acknowledging Sir Ed, Retro Ed UK, and of course Sir Josh Hunt. Sir Viraj, Sir Jose, same question. Does having a video game background was a selling factor for you to get hired?
For me, I think it was because she was very upfront whenever she told me that because she, they asked that question like, where do you see yourself like in this company, like going, like, do you want to stay, get promoted, stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, like it would be nice. And she was telling me how the GameStop really tried to focus on promoting from within. And she was saying how she was like a rare exception where she came from managing a Foot Locker. She has no knowledge of video games at all. And I thought that was kind of weird when she told me that. And
a girl.
Yeah. And she's and a girl. And so I was like, I know about this and that. And I was just going on and on. And I think she saw me as like, What's the word?
Not gay.
Condescending. You think you're condescending, like looking down on her or something? Like you don't know anything about this job? Or...
No, like I think she saw me as like someone she could use as knowledge because she doesn't know anything about video games.
Right.
You were going to be a resource to her.
There you go. That I
Yeah, there you go.
did not think of that.
Yeah.
So she like really liked me, and she's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna like offer you the job right here, and so and it was a lot of that working there. There was a lot of questions from her about certain things, and you'd think that I was the one that was in charge, and she was like someone new. So at times it was annoying, and it was annoying too because she had brought friends over from Foot Locker. So literally the management team was all girls who knew nothing.
Oh my goodness! Okay.
And it was reflected in our Yelp reviews.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, they were like, if you walk in, and I'm not being sexist. It's not me. This is
no. It's a reality. Back in
literally, they would say, if you walk in, and it's one of the females, just walk out and come back when there's a guy.
Oh,
because literally, like there was our store manager didn't know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Our assistant store manager was a guy who'd been with the company who came from a different store, so he knew a lot. And then you had the 3
SGAs,
mm-hmm. who were her friends, who were all female, who didn't know anything about video games either.
For this context, what are SJs?
Senior game associate.
Yeah, so you would start off as a game advisor.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There used to be a position called lead game advisor.
Yes.
Then
they did away with that.
Yeah, senior game advisor, and then you just go assistant store manager and store manager.
Yes. Game advisors, game associates. Yeah, it starts with GAs, then SGAs, then ASM, assistant store manager,
game associates.
Yes, game associates or game advisors, one or the other. Yeah,
very professional sounding, huh?
Yes, very corporate. Very corporate. Mm-hmm.
Very corporate. It was.
I'm jealous, man.
I'm gonna refer to you guys as such.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those Yelp reviews tore those women apart.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
I mean, at least were they hot? At least
were they?
They weren't ugly.
That's a very polite way of putting it, of course. Okay. All right. If that's the case, then Sir Joel, same question. And out of all of the game associates that we have right here, you would be the most knowledgeable in video games. Did it even have a factor in your hiring at all?
Funniest thing, very small factor. A very small factor because of the fact that they appreciated that you knew about the video games. But every single person who applied for a job in GameStop knows a ton about video games. What they were looking for was the extra. The being able to sell the games, being able to sell the pre-orders, being able to manage the store, being able to make sure that everything is in order, being able to unload product once it comes into the back, and all those boxes pile up in the back. You have to go through them every single day, every single morning, as in open them all up, make sure that they are all based on planogram on the walls, on the shelves, whatever. Being able to at least assess what the person coming into the door wants, if they're just shopping, if they have something particular in mind already, if they want to buy something for their kid, if they want to buy Grand Theft Auto for the kid. You just say, you do know that this has nudity in it, right? Things like that. So in the end of it,
I am going to ask that follow-up question.
Yes.
Like
in the end of it, that
go ahead. Go.
Yes, in the end of it, that the knowledge of games is, I would say, only about a 10 to 15% of what was needed in working in a video game shop, because everybody knows about video games already. The people who are selling it, the people who are buying it, the people who are running the whole thing already know about video games. If you didn't know jack about video games, that 15% won't matter. What would matter is how you can sell the stuff that's in the store and how you can arrange it properly according to what the corporate mandate is. If this signage has to be up by a particular time, you'd better be damn sure that that signage is up at that particular time and in the particular place that they say that it should be. If the person walks in, then you'd better make damn sure that that person walks out with something that with having bought something from your store. You take it as a personal loss if he doesn't. So yeah, 10 to 15% of the game knowledge, you can actually throw that out the window. But like Jose says, it still comes into play when you're actually in the store already. But working for it initially, you don't. You learn it as you go. Back to you,
Mm.
Joe.
Right. This next question is for still for the gaming associates that we have here.
Mm.
Um, Tell us, really dig deep on this one. As far as you can remember, tell us your first day in the
Mm.
job, the garage.
I remember my first sort of bad day. Because the first day I'm trying to remember, like my first day. My first day was just sitting in front of a computer going through training exercises. That's basically how does the till system work, things like that. That's
Mm.
boring. You don't want to hear that stuff. It's like the
Mhm.
first day out there on the shop floor selling to customers. I'll tell you a bad day and a good day. Okay, the bad day I had was when a customer called me useless. You know, and I'd never sort of
Oh.
encountered that sort of confrontation. And I told her, like, she goes, "Do you have any catalogs here?" I'm thinking in my head, well, we're not Argos, mate. You know, like we don't have catalogs. We're a shop here, and you can go online or whatever. Like we don't really have that anymore. And she goes, "No, I want to speak to the manager." And I said, "Well, the manager's kind of busy." "Oh, you're useless. You know,
Mhm.
useless to me." I'm just some 16-year-old
Oh.
kid. I'm like, what do I know? Like, how am I useless? Like, that's such a horrible thing to say to someone. So some customers can be really mean. And then I learned to be thicker skinned. Like, one of the things about working in retail and these shops is you have to be thick skinned. You know, you have to have thick skin. You can't let these random people upset you. You know, and that's. Don't get me wrong. Like, it can still get to you when you're older. Like, you're, what the hell? Like, things happen in life,
Who
but
doesn't?
you have to be resilient. You have to be thick skinned and resilient when it comes to these things. So, you know, there's that element. But a really good day was when. So I've just been 2 months into the job now. October, November. We're in December now. And my manager goes, "Viraj, your job is to sell PlayStation today. It's 23rd December. Is it 23rd? 23rd of December, I think. It's just before Christmas or something. It's like that weekend, like 21st. It was coming up to winter solstice period. It's that last weekend before Christmas. You know how men are. They buy things last minute. Anyway, so I'm in the shop and I go, right, you're here to sell games. That's all you do. That's PlayStation 2. That's your thing. I'm like, oh, okay. Now I looked up in the warehouse. We had Xboxes, we had GameCubes, we had PlayStations. Sadly, I got rid of the last Dreamcast a while ago because obviously you know what happened with that. So there was the 3 left in Game Boy Advance, and I sold 28 PlayStation 2s in a day. Yeah, 3 GameCubes and three Xboxes and 3 Game Boy Advances. That's just how dominant the PS2 was that peak season. And I remember like it was quite a straightforward sell. But what they wanted to do, because when they dropped the price from $199 to $169.99, they wanted us to sell it in bundles with games to push the price up to $200. We would need to make it margin rich. So this goes by what Joe says. We're here to sell solutions, not shift boxes. Because the PlayStation 2 didn't have as much margin as people might think it had. You know, it was the cheapest DVD player out there, but that's because Sony
PlayStation 2, yeah.
Yeah, and that was another way I used to sell it. It got to the point where like it was coming up to the end of the day, and there's a customer with his kid, and they're looking at a TV. I said, "Why don't you just buy it with a DVD player as well?" And the kid was like jumping for joy. He's like, "Yeah, get PlayStation 2 as well." So the kid was happy. So I remember that transaction. Out of all of them, it was literally a blur to me because there was just so much being sold. But I remember that kid being so happy because I introduced him to his dad to the PlayStation 2 instead of buying a DVD player. Because will you pay £30 more for a DVD player, or why don't you buy a console that's also for your kid that you can play together? And I sold it with, I don't know what game it was at the time, and they were happy, you know. And they got a solution, so that was it. And it's not just about selling the console on its own; it's about selling the memory card with it, the games, and a bundle of games, and making money that way. That's where the money was. It was the bundles, not on the core console.
It's the upselling.
There's the upselling, and that's really what it comes down to. I mean, you don't have to know about video games. It's about knowing what complements the products and how to make money for the company. the protection schemes, like we do 3 years, we do a 3-year cover plan that protects it from any breakdown, and if there's any issues, we'll repair it for you, etc. And goodness knows you needed it back then, because some of these consoles could be quite temperamental. But that's where the money was at. It's these insurance or service agreements you'd sell with the machines, not so much the machine. The money was in the service agreement. So that's what it was. But after that day, and after peak season was coming to an end, I got a letter from my area manager. So it's my manager's boss who looked after the stores, and it's called the Dominic's Diamond Award. So I've got this little frame with my name on it saying for top performance in peak season for games, and I've got a £50 voucher or something, as a £50 bonus in my paycheck because of what it was. And that was a lot of money back then. £50 is £50, but back then for someone, because my salary was what, £3.03 an hour, because minimum wage for 16 to 17-year-olds is less than 18-year-olds. So it's very low what I was getting paid. But I also got a commission-based salary, so that actually made it level up. But that £50 was actually a day's basic wage. So it was actually something that was gifted to me. And I was very grateful for that. But that was a good day for me. Like my first main day on my job to really perform was peak season 2002 and killing it. And I did really good at that particular day. And I always remember that because I did the best on the area. And it was a little shop that we worked in Mordenstow. So we were all equally seeded, but we really did well. So
let's revise the question according to what Sir Viraj answer was. So Sir Jose, your best memory and your worst memory working at the GameStop.
My best memory?
I mean your best day and your worst day rather.
I think it's like a boring because it wasn't really like dealing with customers, which was I think probably the best day, was because it was whenever because the store was opening, like it still hadn't opened when I got hired. So when we went there, the store was completely empty. Like all that was up was the shelves, the registers. So we literally spent the day opening packages of distro. And it was just full of games, and it was crazy seeing like all these games. Like and looking back, there's all kinds of rare things that are really expensive now that we would see.
The definition of terms: distro are the boxes that come off of the delivery truck, like cardboard boxes full
Distribution.
of stuff. Distribution, yes. Things to be distributed are all around the store, shall we say?
Distro, okay.
And I remember like. Me and my friend we were putting together the PS2 section, so we were like opening and being like, "Oh man, like look at this game, and like other people had their others, and they're like, "Look what I have over here," and
yeah,
it was like amazing. But beyond that, like I'm like trying to think if there was like a really good time when I was like with the customer, but I'm like I don't think so. Not really. There was times when I would have like fun, like on my own with the customer, because we would get like those kids who would come in and try to buy like GTA or something like that, and it was always funny because they would try to buy it, and I'd be like, "Hey, like you need a parent to say this is okay for you to get," and they'd go and they'd get their parent. And they'd be like, "Oh, hey, like, and I know Spanish, but unless you come to me speaking Spanish at first, I'm not going to say anything." So the kid was speaking to me in English, and he was like, I was like, "Oh, can you just tell your parents, if this is okay?" Because, and you just read the ESRB thing, like what's in it, and he would tell. And this kid, not knowing that I knew Spanish, would tell his parent, like, "Oh, he just wants to know if you have money to pay for the game." And I was like, I was like, "You little fucker." I was like, "That is not what I said." So the look on every single time it would happen, the look on the kids' faces when I broke out in Spanish and was like, "That's not what I said." And I would tell them, is it okay for them to buy this game because it has this, this, and this? The look on the kid's face as soon as I started speaking Spanish, and the look on the parents' face as soon as they found out what was in this game that their kid wanted, it was so funny. I remember most of the time the parent would start yelling at the kid, or they'd just be like no and walk out. And I remember one time, oh my god, and that I don't know, maybe I felt a little bad. This fucking lady started beating on her kid. And I was like, no. I was like, okay. But not like beating, but she like was like smacking him. Like, what the
Yeah,
hell?
I regret nothing.
Well, no, but here in the UK, we have laws we have to follow. When the Peggy rating system came in 2003, I had to go on training for that. We can be prosecuted because we're selling.
Hang on.
So, yeah.
Does Sir Biraj speak Hindi when the kid speaks Hindi to the parents?
I don't speak it. I understand like the language, but we don't have any Indian customers, to be honest here. But you get an idea.
How about you, Sir Joel? When the kid says in Tagalog, Mami, may panbili ka daw, may pera ka ba pambili nito?
No. The funniest thing is the Filipino kids who came in were very obedient, and if they knew exactly what you were saying, they would exactly repeat it to their parents. They would not try to pull that. I mean, but yeah, it's shall we say probably because of the fact that the parents here in the U.S., Filipino parents, are very strict when it comes to their kids. But yes,
Right.
continue what you were trying to say, Viraj.
No, I'm saying in the United Kingdom, like because we had that intense training about, the person
the
buying the
Peggy
game
ratings.
has to be over 18. The person buying has to be over 18. Even though I'm selling GTA 3 for like $5 now in my bargain bin, and a 60, well, someone younger could actually buy it, I still say, look, you got any ID? Because I can be prosecuted for that. You know what I mean? If the trading standards are watching, you know what I mean? Like I can't be doing that. So, and it's an important thing because video game. There is I'm for the video game rating system. I know it happened, but I'm for it because you need to protect children from that sort of content. You know, and I think I don't want to go on for a rant about openness about violence and sex has gone too far, but I think we need to protect children. I'll just leave it at that, shall we? But yeah, we do have to follow the law because we could get fined and get a lot in trouble if you work for a retail as well.
I was going to ask. I mean, given the circumstances, we did mention about Peggy and the ESRB. So I'm assuming all of your the shops are really adhering to the policy.
Very
Okay,
yes.
you guys, you should really educate the kids, the minors buying these games, not letting them buy this unless unless the parents really are okay with them buying these games, right?
The kids are going to be kids. They're going to try it. That's the truth. We all wanted to stay up late to watch that movie past the watershed. So in the United Kingdom, past 9 p.m. is the watershed. Kids are going to try and stay up late and watch, Aliens or whatever, or the Fly, or films that they shouldn't be watching. Because all the kids at school are saying, "Yeah, I saw this last night," and it's peer pressure, isn't it? And little brother's going to want what big brother has. Little brother want to experience what big brother wants. It's that sort of thing. It's just one of those things that's there, and it's going to happen all the time. Kids are going to want to play things. Come on, we've all been there. We wanted to see a movie, but we're too young to see. We've all been there. We want to play a video game, we're too young to. We get it. I get why people are going to try. I get why the kid was trying to hustle his parents in. So Jose's case, and I get why they did it. It was wrong, but I get why they do it. I can empathize with that. But the rules are the rules, and you got to follow them. No excuses.
Right.
That's the way it is.
Sir Jose, the strict policy regarding the ESRB.
It was literally you had to be 18 or older with an ID, or you would have to have an adult say it's okay, and they would have to be the one to purchase it.
Correct. Yeah. Same here. So that's it.
Sir Jobo. So if unless they're gonna pull off a real little rascals, two kids in a trench coat. Hey, hello, fellow adult. I'm another adult asking to buy this GTA 5 video game for my kid, who is obviously my son right here. May we purchase said game?
Like Jose said, it's very much, the parent has to approve, and the parent has to pay it out of his own pocket. The fact that if the purchase has gone down with the parent and the parent hands it off to the kid, it's out of our hands already. The important thing about it is that GameStop was extremely careful about adhering to the law and keeping itself from liability when it comes to suing. The moment those things, those whole things are being videotaped, there's not. I don't quite recall if there was audio. I don't think there was audio with the recording, but yes, it does show that the transaction had happened adult to adult. So me as a salesman, the parent bought the game, and after the sale has been made, the money in the till, the product handed over to the parent, we don't care what you do with it anymore. If you come back screaming that this has nudity and your kid played it, it's on you because you approved it, you wanted to do it, you bought it for yourself, and the camera showed it. But yeah, um we had to GameStop as a rule was very compliant with ESRB laws because of the fact that they work very closely with publishers, with distributors. They were the face of video games during that era. Not so anymore. But yes, back then, if you mentioned games, it had to be GameStop. So that's why they were very protective of that image. Mhm.
Uh, this pay no attention to the short hands that I have.
Oh, at least,
I'm
yeah,
just trying to get my
yeah,
ID from my pocket.
at least it's not three raccoons in a trench coat. At
Three
least it's
raccoons in
two.
a trench coat. All right. This question right here is coming from Miss I.
Mm,
Have a speedy recovery, Miss I. Um, so she asks, are you allowed to reserve video games for yourselves to buy before the game release? And if so, oh, the game discount, of course. We already answered that. So, do you
mm.
guys put some games out in the down low before
Yeah.
before
Are
it
you
releases?
allowed to put games away for
Are you
yourself?
are you allowed that? So, Viraj, go
Raj,
ahead.
you go first.
Well, obviously, yeah. I mean, there has to be some perks to the job, right? So, like,
Hmm.
The
when
perks.
yeah, so obviously, if there's, I did used to ring in and say, look, there's this new game coming out. Like, can you just hold it for me? It's going to come on delivery this Thursday. I'll set the BIs. I know they're going to be, and just hold one for me. No,
Hmm.
hold two. And then they're like, they don't, or whatever, and then they'd have it for me there and then. It's just one of those things, there's got to be some perks to the job. There's some days where I'd say, look, like there's a game I want. Can you just hold it for me, even if it has been out already? Forget, day one release it because you know maybe it's there for a week or two, and there's like two left in stock, and you see it, and like, okay, I'll buy it next weekend. I used to just put it away in like some secret
What
place.
game
And
was
no one
that for you?
Sorry,
What game was
what do
that?
you?
I
I
mean,
can't
what
hear what
game
you
was
said.
that for you?
Uh,
What game was that you had to put it on the side for yourself? What was the game,
it's this
if you
lovely little
remember?
game. It's a game. No, I remember it. It's a game you'd like. It's called Star Ocean Till the End of Time, and it had a little DVD back
Oh,
then. And it wasn't something that I reserved. It's a game that had been out.
PS2. Yeah.
Years ago. It'd been there for a long time, and it went down to clearance at £6.97. So obviously, at £6.97, that's cheap. Bought it, and just to touch on Miss I, there were a lot of games I reserved for myself, and I'd put out at the back, and I wouldn't even put it out. I'd just wait until they just go on clearance, and then I'd just buy them all cheap for myself. But there'd only be one copy, and I'd take it. So there you go. Wasn't good for the company. I don't mind saying this now because I would have got fired for this sort of stuff. What I'm doing is I'm putting stuff aside for myself. I'm letting it depreciate naturally out of view of the shop. Because to be honest, there was more games that we'd get in than we'd have to space to put out on the shelves. To be fair, because games were the PS2 was huge. We had 2 meters of space, and we had loads of games. And customers would ask me, "Have you got this game? If it's not here," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll check out the back and I'll sell it to them." That's just how big a deal it was back in the day. But there'd be certain games. There's games that I regret not holding because there was, like the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Like you guys in
Mm.
America got them in cardboard boxes. We had them in like proper, plastic cases, and they all got sent back, and I didn't know about it, but they were cheap or something. I could have just bought them all at a killing and made a killing like very quickly later because they're worth a lot of money now. Neo Geo Pocket Color games, you've got them more complete, and the European ones are the best ones because you got a nice case for it. But look, like I got the lion's share of the games that I wanted, and that's what mattered, and that's where I've always benefited. So that's where I win in that regard. But I didn't like, in all fairness, even then on my wage, these games were bloody expensive. They were expensive. Let's be honest here, and I was glad that I was. Yeah, you're damn right. I'm heartless. You're right.
No, the Viraj is making that comment as part of it.
I'll say this: on the salary that I had to put up with, and all the stuff I had to put up with, I wanted some benefits. It was a minimum wage salary. That's the
No. This is worth getting into because Viraj is responding to a comment that Jomenten started in the chats, and we might as well get into it now. Jomenten said, "Hey, GameStop peeps, I have a question. How does it feel ripping off someone, specifically kids, when you buy their game for cheap?" And Jose replied,
Amazing.
F them kids.
There you go. Jose replied, "Amazing." And Jomenten said, "You guys are heartless." And
it's not ripping him off though. They were happy to pay that price. That's the retail price. We waited for the game to go down in price. Let's not forget. We waited our turn. These people paid the premium because they wanted it day one. Okay. Now these kids, it's not the kids buying a game; it's the adults. I don't remember selling that many games to kids. It's adults that are buying it for their children. And bottom line is, you could vote with your feet. If you find it cheaper elsewhere, you go elsewhere. And there was a lot of competition back in those days. Yeah, there were so many other retailers in the United Kingdom at the time that were selling games. We weren't the only ones, but there was a finite supply of certain games like Star Ocean till the end of time and things like that. But if you really wanted it, you would have got it. And that game was, to be fair, it was out on the shelf for £40, $39.99 on release, and it had depreciated. It's just we kept the price at $39.99 because it was a chore just repricing all the games. You had to peel the sticker off, put a new one on. Yeah, we had to do every week. There was a new update, and then Clive, my manager, would be like, "Here's a new list of games you need to reprice." I'm like, "What? Nobody." Oh God! And you see, and you can also see how much it cost the company to buy these games in. Yeah, there's a number of these were just sold as losses, but then you realize how much each publisher is making on them. You realize that, and there's all sorts of stories I could say, and I don't want to go on a tangent. But to answer the question, I don't remember ripping anyone off. People were happy to buy that money. I didn't put a gun to their head saying you need to buy this or you're going to miss out or something. It was there, and I decided, look, that's the price I'm going to wait for it for. It's there. Nobody's buying it. I haven't lowered the price yet because I haven't had the time to lower it, and it would go on for weeks. But it would be like £40 on the shelf. And then I scan it in by mistake. Oh, it's $6.97. I might as well buy it. And that's what would happen. That would happen because it's a lot of work for just one person to do who just works a Saturday job. It's really a full-time job. And these companies cut back on so much in terms of staffing. What do you expect? Do you want everything to be done at once? No. So, yes, there are going to be little benefits when I scan in something in the system thinking, oh, it's not actually £40 anymore. Is this? There are even some games stashed in the filing cabinet. And the 16-bit era was over, but there's a box copy of Streets of Rage 1 and a box copy of Sonic 3D Blast just sitting there, and they were 47 pence a piece. Am I not going to buy them in 2002? You're damn right. I'm not going to put it out for customers. I should have a benefit for that, so I bought it. So I think for what we get paid, it was hard work. Let's be honest, lads. Working in these game sections, it was a lot of work, and we should have got some benefit from it. And I have no shame, no regrets in doing what I did. In fact, sometimes I'd actually buy a game cheap and just trade it in because a shop would give me more money because the shop that I had bought it from was on clearance, and they were happy to pay me £10 for a game I paid 97 pence for. Why not?
There you go.
So I have no shame whatsoever in that. Even though the company didn't like us doing that, I have no shame. So it's my copy, it's my game. I can do what I want with it.
Precisely. Exactly.
Hang on. If purchasing is not owning.
Yeah,
you have the license, okay? Don't own the game. Sir Jose, same question.
Which question? That question?
The question was, are you allowed to reserve games for yourself?
Oh, okay.
And what game was it for you?
I know it was never anything new. It was always used stuff that would come in either through distro or people that someone would trade in. Like someone, I don't even remember because I did it countless times. So someone would trade something in, and I'd be like, as soon as they leave, I'd be like, "This is mine." And we literally had a whole drawer where you put stuff in, and you put your name on it, and like they would give you like
Really?
a week to come get it. Yeah, so there's a lot of
Oh no,
stuff.
so there's a grace period. You don't get to buy it right then and there. So you have to
You
wait
well,
for a
you
grace period.
can, but you're not allowed to buy anything while you're on the clock.
Exactly.
So like if you worked
Oh,
until closing, then you would have to come back the next day.
Mhm.
But usually our manager would give you like a week before she would take it out and
Put
throw it
it
back
back
on
on the
the
shelf.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would
so for
usually do
example,
that.
if I want to trade in a like a JRPG, Project Darkness,
Hmm.
right? Xbox 360,
Hmm.
US version, and then you saw it, and then you wanted it,
It's mine.
so it's yours.
Yes.
So like for example, if you got Sir Viraj and Sir Joel also working
Mhm.
that day, what would be the conversation would be like that? So
And
you call dibs?
whoever called dibs.
That's it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's it. Simple as that. It's dog eat
Yeah.
dog. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Eat
Same
dog.
thing. Like if I had a like a shitty copy or like a messed up case, and someone traded in a game with a good case,
Oh, he'd swap it out. Yeah.
what I would do is I would take the case. I
I
would
would
make
I
one of
would have done
those.
the same thing too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would make those generic GameStop cases.
Oh yeah.
that just have it printed, and I'd be like, I'd tell the manager, I'm going to take this case, and she'd be like, that's fine. So I'd just show the camera there's nothing in it. So I'd open it when I'm leaving. It's no game.
Oh,
Yeah, of
dude,
course.
I got so many steel books that way.
Me too. And steelbooks and collector's editions,
No
Mhm.
pun
because
intended.
people would trade those in. That we would either keep them and give them to someone or just throw them away.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some people are so ignorant, really.
They are.
And then the
Anything else
question
to add?
about the ripping people off,
Mhm.
I'm not making you do it.
Yeah.
I literally tell you, hey, you're gonna get this much. If you're the dumbass who sells it for that little, that's
Mhm.
your own fucking fault. I did not hold a gun to your head and be like, you better sell me these games now.
Mhm.
That's your fault.
Oh,
No. A little bit of elaboration on Jose's point. Because of the fact that the GameStop operates in such a manner, you can trade in your used games to GameStop. GameStop will pay you for these used games, hold them for a certain amount of time, and then put them out on the shelf for other people to buy themselves. Now, those used games will usually be marked up like crazy. You've traded in your used game of NBA 2K15. It's 50 cents. Then goes by a week, goes on the shelf. It's being sold for 9.99. So the profit there is that GameStop makes the profit off of the trade-ins. That's where their major money comes from.
that's it.
That's basically it. Now the thing about it is, hidden to John Menten's point. Do I feel bad about paying you 50 cents for your copy of NBA 2K15? Sorry, no. We offered you the price. You said, this sucks, but I'm doing it anyway because I need the 50 cents to go towards credit or something else.
Okay.
Deal done.
It's you know what?
Uh,
It's
Viraj, go ahead.
it can be expensive, like buying a new generation of new games. And I think there's nothing wrong. I wouldn't call them dumbasses. I wouldn't patronize anyone trading their games in, because they're putting something back out there, and they get either store credit or they're either getting store credit or they're getting something for it because they've had their fun with that game.
Yeah.
They've got the value out of it, and now they're giving it back to someone else to buy. And I think that's actually quite nice that they're doing that. But yes, that if they want to sort of trade it in for less than what they paid it for, but they're getting something for it. Something, isn't it? But yeah, I wouldn't trade anything in like that. I don't want to get its value personally.
No, in Viraj's point, definitely you get much more in terms of store credit than you get in terms of cash. You store credit would be if you traded in NBA 2K15 at 2018. If you wanted store credit, you got $5. If you $5 of store credit, if you traded in for cash, you got 50 cents. Because of the fact that you would be the store credit would keep that money within the company itself, flowing within the company. Whereas if you took the 50 cents, it would be paid out. That's money out of the till. So in essence, John Menten said that's corporate talking through Tito Joel. Yes, it's true. That's I'm revealing both the consumer side, actually the consumer side, the salesman side, and the corporate side. This is everybody's point of view. This is how everybody thinks. They are looking to trade their stuff in. The this person on the till doesn't give a shit. He just pays out whatever corporate dictates, and corporate says this is how we make money off of that trade. That's basically how it works.
So our EB games and our CEX game shops here,
Mhm.
they tend to buy off the old video games.
Mm,
Guys, my collections are okay. You know what games I have. So if so,
JRPGs.
for example, if I decide to sell this off in your shops, right?
Mhm.
You guys individually know damn well how much each of my games worth, and then the store will only offer me this much,
Yeah,
and you guys know about that.
you're getting bent
Do you
over
even have
and
I mean
taken from behind.
yeah, I mean like is
Yeah,
there I mean like do you owe it to the so like you guys mentioned, you, do you uh do you have any bit of of a conscience
the
saying
the
don't sell
only
it
time,
here, sell it somewhere else,
yeah,
or go to marketplace, yada 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 yada?
the only time we would do that is number one, actually two times. Number one, if you're a friend, we'll tell you no, don't do it here. Number two, if we like you, even if you're a stranger, if you're nice to us, then we'll tell you don't do it here, do it someplace else. Those are the
Sure
only
thing.
two times. Yeah. Any other time, don't give a
it's
fuck.
business. It's
Mhm.
business.
Business, yeah.
I mean, we're not communists. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like we do things for a price, and
Absolutely.
we're here to function. Yeah, we need to eat too. You know,
Absolutely.
I
Hmm.
gotta eat. Man's gotta eat. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And we're doing you a favor. You know,
Hmm.
you wanna trade your gaming with us? Great. Yeah. If you're someone that if you're someone I know and I know like you can get a better deal somewhere else, then okay,
Hmm.
I'll
Yeah.
do on that. But
Look.
if you personally, Sir Joe,
Hmm.
if you wanted to sell your games, yeah,
Hmm.
I'd,
Yeah.
I'd, I'd do I'd pay I'll give you more than any trading shop. I
Oh
do that.
my goodness. Okay, but
I will
other.
give you more than any trading shop because I know what
Hmm.
it's worth and I
Well,
know what I can make on it.
we always put it this way.
Suffer, but
Hmm.
I know now. I'm living in a world now where
Hmm.
everyone knows what their games are worth. So
Yeah.
whenever I source my stock for
Hmm.
reselling, I offer them more than what any other game shop will offer them, which is fair. But
Hmm.
I know that I'm still going to make some decent
Yeah.
margin on it, which I'm happy
Well,
with.
we
And
always put it this way.
yeah,
Even if the buddy was selling it, and we know that we were giving him pennies for the dollar, we would tell him, even if he was insistent on selling it to us, we would say, it's your choice, dude. And in the end of it, we're providing you a service rather than you having to go out to Facebook Marketplace or going to eBay or going to
yeah,
some CD place where you might get
offering
shot because of your game,
yeah,
because of the fact that you're holding on to a game and the dude is a druggie, and you get stabbed and get a waterworks coming out of you. We are giving you the service of taking your game, even for pittance. You get your safety, you get to sell you get to sell your game for store credit or cash, and you get to shop with us still anyway. You don't have to go through all the rigmarole of setting up an eBay account and shipping it out or whatever. In that case, they did see the benefit of it. You were about to say, Viraj. Go ahead.
So Joe Mars just made a comment here saying one time I remembered I said something to someone selling their games at GameStop and he was whining about the price. It's so annoying a man child doing it. Just said sell your games on eBay.
Mm,
What I've done. Right. But
yeah.
okay, so let me just be very clear. Let me understand. Selling on eBay is not as easy as you think it is because you're competing with
Yes.
the whole world. You got to pay fees. Sometimes it costs you to do it. Sometimes you sell to
Fees suck.
sometimes you sell to a buyer and the buyers are just as slippery as some of the sellers. So
Mm,
you sell to a buyer and they say, well, you sold me a fake game, and then they put the fake
mhm.
game there, and then eBay will side with the sellers, with the buyers.
Always, almost always, yeah. Hmm.
So you're kind of damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So eBay is still the best place if you want to. I would still say if you want to get the full value game, because most people I like to think are honest. I'm speaking from a UK point of view, from my experiences. But in all fairness, it's become such a. I've been stung with a few fake carts on there and things like that. So and the sellers can be dodgy as well. That's the worst thing about eBay and buying on eBay. So eBay, the thing with online selling is in the UK we have something called distance selling regulations and rules, which basically means that the consumer is protected. but it's a precarious business, and it's hassle to sell on eBay. It's easier to
Mhm.
go to a shop or someone and just sell it to them like that. It's easier. You get the cash in hand, you're done. And I prefer that, to be honest. I
Yes.
personally do. Even when I trade, I prefer. I could start an eBay business, but I'm loath to pay tax with eBay. I'm loath to do this and that, and I don't want to do it. And it's also a hassle because I have a day job. Okay, and this thing when I buy and sell games aside, is I go to markets, and that's my day of trading, and I'm done doing it then, and that's it. I go home. I don't take my work home with me. When someone's buying on eBay, I'm constantly working. Oh God, I've got to pack it. I've got to ship it. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. It's something you have to do. So
Mhm.
it's hassle. So you're not wrong, Sir Joe Mar. Yes, he does know the value game, and he could just do it on eBay. But you're not right in saying that it's easy because not everyone has the means to do it or the ability to do it or know how to market things and use the computer and put it on eBay and stuff like that.
Oh, and to answer your question, Joe, I didn't get to answer this question. What were the worst days and the best days that I had at my video
Yeah.
game store?
Yes.
Okay, so the worst day, let's start with that one. The worst day was when I was learning the till. Well, not learning the till, but the first time that I had to close all by myself. I had to close the store all by myself. The whole day I was there. I closed everything. I made sure that the gate was down. I made sure that the alarm was set to go off. The safe was open. I counted the money. The fact is, it was the very first time that I was doing the actual counts, and and I took longer than I should have. I should have been done in about 30 minutes to do the whole thing. The very first time I did it, I took 2 hours because of the fact that I was learning everything little by little. I'm just thankful that my boss back then was extremely patient with me. He didn't care if I took more than an hour or two to try to learn everything. His policy was if you learned it, learn it well, learn it to the point where it becomes automatic to you so that in the future you don't have to worry about it anymore. That was a good life lesson to me. Spend as much time as you need to learn what you need to do, because once you know how to do it, you'll just get faster. It'll become automatic to you and you don't have to worry about it going forward. I'm thankful to him for that. Thanks so much, Nick. So yeah, that was the one of the worst things. I spent an extra 2 hours at the end of the day, close to midnight already, finishing up everything because I was a newbie at the job. I felt bad because of the fact that I didn't I was wait my family was waiting for me. My wife and daughter was waiting for me at home. But yeah, I had to know and learn the system back then. And I had to sacrifice that time because of the fact that I thought of it as if I sacrifice this time now, then I'll be able to accrue much more time in the future. I'll be able to do it faster so that I can spend more time with my family going forward. So I did that. That was one of the worst days for me because of the fact that I was miserable because I was learning it and I was making a lot of mistakes. It never feels good to make a mistake. It never, ever, ever makes it feels good to make a mistake, especially when it comes to counting money, especially when it comes to learning what everybody else is supposed to be already know. So that was the worst day of my GameStop life. The best days, though, actually, the second worst, another worst day was during Black Friday. Black Friday was when everybody was buying games. The line was right out the door, and everybody was short tempered. It was very hard, and there were oftentimes it was just either you or one other person in the store. Like Jose said, GameStop was very stingy when it comes to paying for hours for associates. They really didn't want to spend all that much in labor. They just thought, the games would sell itself. That's not the case. The games never sell themselves. So the best day though was when I had already learned everything and I was making the sales and everything, and the reviews for the store would come in. They would always be positive and glowing because of the fact that we had a good system. People came in, they either didn't know what they wanted and we would sell them stuff and they didn't even know that they wanted it and they came away very happy, or they knew what they wanted and we would give it to them, and we would give them stuff that they didn't even know that they needed. Case in point, if you bought a game and you had no subscription to Xbox Games Live back then, which was an online service, if you bought Call of Duty and you wanted to go play online, you didn't know that you needed it, we would sell it to you so that you would actually be able to go online and play your game. They were very happy with that. And of course, the second happy memory that I have isn't so much with the customer as it was with my teammates back then. There was a time when we got lucky when there were four of us in the store. And we would all be working together. The nice thing about it was that we all became friends. And there was a moment where where basically the store was full. A lot of customers buying games. All four of us were on the floor, shelving, counting, selling, helping customers, and somebody broke out with the first line of the Pokemon theme song. I want to be the very best. And everybody in the store started singing along with it all the way to the chorus. And everybody had a grand old time. It lifted the mood of the store itself. And sales on that day were just off the charts. Let me just say one thing: people buy when they feel good. And that day was a very, very feel good
The
day.
fucking
So
nerds. All right.
we all were, yeah.
Have you okay? Have you reserved a video game
Mm.
even before release, and what game was that?
Yes, in my case, it was a game. It was a highly anticipated game called Kingdom Come Deliverance. Everybody was waiting for that
No.
one. Nowadays, it's very easy to get, but during the release, everybody was looking for a physical copy. The PS4 copy, we had to. Everybody was going 3 towns over just to get a PS4 copy of Kingdom Come Deliverance. One came into the store, in my store, and I said, "Yep, that damn thing is mine." So I put it away. I told Nick, this one is mine. Nobody gets it. And Nick just wrote it on a sticky note, slapped it on it. And the moment I got off my shift, I went for it. Yeah.
So, for example, if I go to a website right now
Mhm.
and there's one game that I saw online, I
Mhm.
try to click it, and then when I go to the checkout,
Mhm.
but it's not there anymore. So
Mhm.
that would mean, assumingly, one of you guys dibs it for the
Oh, no, no,
for
no, no, no,
yourself.
no, no. The system is, if you make a reservation online and the count does show that it's there, it's going to be there for
It's
you,
there.
waiting for you. Yes,
Oh, there you go.
absolutely. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Now the thing
All
about it
right.
is, if the moment that if you do want it for yourself, I don't recall what the system was, Jose. If somebody if you wanted it, and will it still show if you reserve it for yourself in the store? Will it still show in the inventory as buyable from online? Remind me of that one.
Yeah. What you would have to do is you would either have to because we had this happen too. People would see, hey, like it says you have this game in stock. Do you have it? And it's
Mm-hmm.
literally the only copy.
Mm-hmm.
And people would call and I'd be like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
It's not here. It says it's here, but it's not here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I would buy it afterward. But
The web.
but
We just say, oh, the website is wrong. Sorry, it hasn't updated yet.
yeah,
It's IT's
but
problem. It's not
I
ours.
know when I worked there, they still weren't doing the reserve and pick up online yet. But I know from a friend that what it does is it comes through and it says, hey, is this order came through? Is this in stock? And you have to
Mhm.
like basically say yes or no.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of the times it's happened to me too, so maybe that's karma, but where they're like, no, it's not there. And I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, you screw people over, people screw you over. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's life.
I know how it is. I know how
Yeah.
it is, so it didn't
All
bug me
right.
too much.
We will take this opportunity to have a ad break, but I'll leave this question, the last question coming from Miss I, before we go for the break.
Mhm.
So the question is, according to Miss I asks, were there types of customers who you enjoyed helping out at
Oh
the
yeah.
shop that you might occasionally go the extra mile for? And if so, are there also types that you disliked dealing with? So before they answer that question, we'll hear first from BitMap Books and Streamyard. Do you like playing video games? Do you like reading about history? Do you like learning about video game history? Then you should give yourself the gift of owning some video game history books from BitMap. Since 2014, BitMap Books have published numerous colorful and well-detailed hardbound books about video games ranging from the different video game consoles of old and the various video game genres that will surely pique the interest of its core fanbase. BitMap's team of global video game journalists, players, and illustrators have produced numerous award-winning titles that celebrate the software, hardware, and developers that laid down the foundations for the billion-dollar video game industry we all know and love today. International shipping is also available with careful and considerate packaging from BitMap Books. If you don't want to take my word for it, then you can believe the people, almost 10,000 satisfied customers who submitted their glowing written reviews and video reviews after receiving their books from BitMap. By ordering your first BitMap book using our link, you will also be supporting the Timeless Gamers Show in spreading our love of video games and their rich history. Start your own online live streams, webinars, podcasts, online classes, and virtual presentations with Streamyard. By using Streamyard's user-friendly interface, you can also do simultaneous multi-streaming if you have accounts to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and other platforms. If live streaming is not your style, video and audio recordings are also available, especially with those who have variable and inconsistent internet connections. The finished output will still come out as clear and well articulated exactly as you originally intended. You can also customize the appearance of your presentation, like green screen effects, facial touch-ups to smoothen out those facial blemishes, multiple cameras for multiple guests joining in the discussion, your own wallpaper on the background, adding your own logo as a watermark, sharing videos from your own computer or other website for added visual aids with or without audio, uploading your own background music if you wish to set the mood when talking, and lots more. Before you can enjoy all of the wonderful full features of StreamYard, you can start with a 14-day free trial by using our link. Not only that you are supporting the Timeless Gamers Show, but you can see it for yourself how easy it is using StreamYard. Alright, thank you for that, StreamYard and BitMap Books. Okay, where we left off, Miss I is asking, were there types of customers who you enjoyed helping out that you might go the extra mile for, and were there types you disliked dealing with? Sir Viraj, go on ahead.
Oh well, I think you might have recently seen on my page, and it's still one of those things with people who just don't deodorize or wash, that just stink out the whole shop when they come in. People with bad personal hygiene, bad breath. What's wrong with these people? Like, you wake up and don't have a shower or brush your teeth. What's wrong with these people? And they need to, and this is this is an ongoing thing with gamers, which is like, and it's a bad stereotype that they're smelly, dirty, unkempt people, with scruffy, matted beards, and that does exist out there. And there's some stinky people, yeah. And there are some customers, and then some of them are just like, that they've pissed themselves or something, or they've crapped their pants and stuff like that. Like, these people are just minging. Yeah, they should be. I hate that. I hate people with bad personal hygiene. Look, brush your teeth, wash your face. Like, just bathe fully and deodorize when you come to it. When you leave your house. Yeah, you go to the shops. You make sure you're clean. You don't stink out the place. And there's those sort of customers, those sort of people. Even today, when I do the game markets, I can't stand. Yeah, I hate that shit, man. I'd refuse to serve them. Yeah, I don't care how much money they got, man. They should spend the money on flipping bathing salts and deodorant. It's disgusting. So they're the worst ones. And obviously, you're going to get those who are obnoxious, who talk down to you. Because, look, people buy from, if you're in a shop, you're buying from someone, right? If people are acting like they're entitled or spoiled, or have you got this, have you got that? Or I need this, I need that, you'll get this for me, you'll discount this for me. People demanding deals. Listen, sorry, I don't know who you are, but look, this is the price. This is what we can do in terms of the package that we're offering, and that's the final reduction that we can do. This is this is what it is. You can't dictate to me what it is. If you don't want it, there are other places that you can buy this stock from and see if you can get it cheaper. That's fine, but don't tell me that I need to do it cheaper or whatever. I don't need to do anything. This is the deal. Take it or leave it. And I never talk to them in that regard. I say, look, I'm sorry, but this is what the offer is. So look, the PlayStation 2 is this much money. If you want another controller, it's this much, and we can do this deal. The memory card is fixed, I'm afraid, but we could do a discount if you buy these particular games with it. I can do this, and this can be the final amount I can do. And if they say no, thank you, fair enough. But if they're going to say like, no, you got to do it less, you got to do better than that. That's going to rub me up the wrong way. If I say, look, I'm sorry, this is the best offer I can do. That's it. You're more than welcome to have a look. If somebody else has the same game on the same deal, then that's fine. If they want to walk away, and I think I had this happen to me recently, actually, at the Doncaster gaming market. I had this game on Nintendo DS called Pokemon Conquest. £160 it is. All right, it's a rare DS game now. And he's like, I'm sure I can get it cheaper elsewhere. And I said, you may very well find it cheaper elsewhere. You're just going to have to look hard for it. But I have it right here, and you can buy it today. And that's what I'm offering you, the convenience of it being complete in box, in good condition. And he's like, no, you got to do it less than that. And no, sorry. And in all fairness, what I didn't like is he didn't even make me an offer. He was like, you got to do it less. For how much less does he want? I'm not a mind reader. If he said if you could do it, take a tenner off, I might even consider it. But he didn't even say that, And I thought, okay, well, toodles, man. You know what I mean? And then the next week, I go to the London game market. The third thing that I sold was that game, 160, no questions asked, gone. So at the end of the day, it's entitled customers, people with arrogance, and obviously, like I said before, the bad personal hygiene is disgusting. It's not something that's acceptable. If you can afford to go to these events, you can afford to buy a new video game, you can afford deodorant. Okay, it's as simple as that. So, those of you who know someone, or those of you who are watching who are guilty of this sin, fix up. That's all I've got to say. So that's it. Now, in terms of the good side, that's the bad side. The good side, we're talking about customers we like. There were customers that were very humble, very earnest. That said, look, I've got a son, I've got this. You like to treat people how you treat people. You know what I mean. You treat people how you'd like to be treated yourself. It's that sort of thing. And if people are decent and say, look, I'd like to buy this GameCube and I'd like to buy this Sonic Adventure game. Look, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is £40 and the cube is costing me $129. What can you do? I'm thinking, well, this is what I can do, and this is it. I can take this off, I can do this or that, but that's the best deal I can do. If they take it, that's it. And there are times where I've dealt with someone with respect and I've explained everything that they're buying and what the function is, and they appreciate it. They'd always come back to me because I've been thorough with them. I'd be transparent with them, and they like that. And if people are polite, nice, gracious, and that's where I win with them. So look, we've got Retro Ed here. Here we go. If something is in decent condition and you've nice face, friendly transaction, then I'm good with paying the ticket price. So he's happy with it. Right? So you got that. But that's obviously, we're talking about retro games now. Obviously, we're talking about back in the day when we were selling things new when I was in Dixon's. But yeah, if you're just nice and you're easygoing and you listen to me and we can have a conversation and are friendly, I think if you're just friendly and nice, I'm more likely to do something for you than if you're spoilt and entitled and overly demanding and you just don't understand. If you're just not open-minded, and you get customers like that. And that was a case. I think that will always be the case in retail. It's not the case in the 2000s. That's always going to be the case. But yeah, there we go.
Basically, what the Viraj is saying, if you can afford to buy Pokemon, guys, you can afford to buy Rexona. All right, Sir Jose, same question. What were the type of customers you enjoyed helping, and the ones that you disliked?
The really nice people. There's really nice people out there, and when they come in, you try to do more for them. And I remember there's times where Sergio knows that when you have a new copy, you have to gut one because you need you need one on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while, for some weird reason, someone would take one of those cases thinking that it really had the game in it, and then we would end up having to sell a new game. The disc is new,
mm-hmm.
but with one of those GameStop made cases. And when it usually came to that, if the person was nice, then I would usually be like, okay, here's 10% off because that's kind of fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I like the people, we usually had a drawer full of, or it's not drawers, a cabinet full of stuff that got pennied out.
Oh yeah,
and we would hand them out. like to people that we liked. Not,
Mhm.
but like with like Raj said, there was those people who stunk. I had a
Mhm.
coworker. I don't
Thanks.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. He just did not wear deodorant. He
But
was like I don't want to like be like, oh, it's because he's this, but I think it was literally like he's from a people that don't use deodorant.
Mhm.
body shaming, yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh no, it's not body shaming. It's just basic decency, basic
Culture,
hygiene. Yeah.
is it a cultural thing?
I think it was. I know. I think it really was. It was it's like a from his culture. They don't wear deodorant.
Yeah, yeah. Or he just come from a family where that's not a thing, and that happened. Like, there's one guy I work with, again, bad bo, and when we told him why don't you wear deodorant, he goes, "I've got allergies. I can't wear deodorant." Also,
Mhm.
it doesn't make any excuse. I swear to God, some of these people do my head in, man.
But people, there's this one guy, and he was kind of weird, but he would like buy a game on release, play it, like beat it like within the week, and then come return like trade it in to get as much as he could for it. But he would only ever trade in the disc.
Hmm.
And I'd be like, like what do
Not the
you,
case.
yeah, and he would keep all his games like in one of those CD folders.
Mm.
And I
Oh,
was
he's one of those. He's
and
one
I
of
was
those
always like,
people. Oh my god. Okay.
and I was always like, what do you, because he would always ask
What do
for
you do
like a
to keep
game,
it?
and I would call other Game Stops and be like, hey, can you hold this for him? He's on his way. And I was one day I finally asked him, I was like, hey, what do you do with the cases? And he told me that he would display them like this.
But
Ah.
And I was like,
what would be
without
the
the
point of that?
games? And he said it was because it was still a record of what he's owned and played.
Mhm.
But
And
you
he
don't own
did,
it anymore.
yeah, that
What?
he just,
What?
I just blew fucking Sir Joe's mind.
Yeah. Well, that was his like in terms of hunting, those were the mounted heads on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
I guess, but still, without the games, what's the point? All
Listen,
right, fine.
don't judge. It takes all sorts.
Continue.
I'd rather have him than someone stinking out the place. All
Oh,
right.
there you go.
Okay,
Mhm.
so there we have it.
And then there was, I don't know her name, but there was this little girl who came in. She was trying to trade in a game.
Mm.
And I remember I was putting up some like just some advertisements on the walls or something, and one of the managers was dealing with her, and she's like, we don't take these, like this is too old for us to take. And this is before we started taking retro again.
Yes.
And I was like trying to look, I was like, what is it? Like on top of the ladder, I'm trying to look over, like, what is this? So I
What
come
was it?
down, and it was a Super Mario RPG.
Oh, okay.
And I
Nice.
was like,
What?
and she's like, yeah, I've beaten this game like
Yeah.
hundreds of times. She's all, and she was like really young, like so Super Nintendo wasn't even her era. And
Right.
I was like, I've always wanted to play this game, but I could never find it, like stuff
Right.
like
Right.
that.
Right.
She was like, do you want it?
Hmm.
And I was like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah. And her mom
Yeah.
was like, it's her game. If she wants to give it away, that's up to her.
Mm.
Really?
So that day I gained the Super Mario RPG, and then she ended
Do you
up
have it
buying
there?
some stuff. I still have it. It's just loose, but
Of course. That's fine. That's fine.
and I still have it. It's back there somewhere.
Mhm.
And she ended up buying stuff,
Yeah.
and I gave her like a discount on everything. And I was
Ever
like,
since.
on everything, she bought like maybe like 5 games, and I gave her like a
Right.
20% discount on everything, even though I'm not supposed to.
Damn.
And then
Oh,
I
hang
was like,
on.
you know what? I was like,
Are you guys allowed that? Are you guys allowed to do that?
we
Like, how
we
much are
can
you? How
every
much are
once
you
in a
guys
while.
allowed to have a
And
discount?
you can hide behind it, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You
So
get
then, and then I had her come to the free drawer, and I was like, "What do you want from here? Like, take whatever you want."
What?
So she walked away with a bunch of stuff.
Dude, the amount of giveaways that game companies give to GameStop, they just get stuffed in a gigantic box in the back. We just give them out sometimes as little freebies,
one,
or if there's some like baseball caps, playing
Yeah.
cards,
Right.
little shot glasses, and everything. They're supposed to be packed in with the game with pre-orders, but sometimes people just don't take them. Sometimes people just don't collect them. Sometimes we just stuff them all in the box,
Mhm.
and in the end of it, either we use them as giveaways, we use them as little trinkets to give to people that we like, or yeah, like in Jose's case, like a little appreciation thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciation
A
event.
lot of the times too, it would be stuff that would get clearanced out all
Mm,
the way to a penny,
hmm.
and no one is allowed to buy that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
what they would do is they'd penny it out,
Hmm.
they'd do it in one transaction, so it'd get out of the system, and then it would just sit there. And a
Hmm.
lot of times it was like strategy guides. So I've like maybe over 100 strategy guides
Hmm.
that I got from GameStop because I remember I
They
told my
were pennied
brother,
out.
I told my brother, oh, come here so you can take this stuff for me. And I would
Hmm.
just hand him stacks of strategy guides and he would just take them home. And then when I got home, I would get them because
Hmm.
we weren't allowed to take them, but we could give them away.
Yes. Hmm.
And then,
Oh.
same thing like Sir Joe was saying, there was times when they would send extras of stuff. So like around the holidays, they would always have like a holiday bundle. You'd
Yes.
get like the Xbox, you'd
Mhm.
get Fable 3, and then you get like 3 months of Xbox Live.
Mhm.
So much money. And because it was a certain box that was made for it, sometimes they would be like, if you run out, just here's digital codes to
Mm-mm.
put with a new system so you can make that bundle.
Yes.
And I remember it was like maybe like 6 months later, and we still had tons of those Fable 3s and what's it called? So I remember we grabbed them and we were like counted them out and we're like, God damn, this is hella years of
Mhm.
Xbox Live.
Yes.
So we asked our manager, like, hey, like, what do we do with these? And she's like, you guys can keep them. Like, split them between the three of you. Because there's three of us working. I mean, I remember that day I went home and I
Really?
redeemed every single one. I had like literally we all ended up with 4 years of Xbox Live for free.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah. So I was like
Nice.
set. I didn't have to pay anything. And then I had a digital copy of Fable 3.
You know what? We should have had Sir Jose join the crew like years ago.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyway,
no.
And then
how about
people
you,
I
Sir Joe?
Sorry,
no, 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 no,
let
no.
Jose finish his
Oh,
point.
people I hated. Oh my god, there was this one guy. Yeah, so annoying. There's
It's
two
always
guys.
this one guy.
These two guys, and they were friends. They were friends.
Oh,
So I hated them. One of the guys was a video game reseller, like this
Garage,
homo,
okay.
but they weren't homo.
Why are you bringing sexuality into this? You know? I mean,
It's their business. Okay.
you know, fact is, you know, you like your furry. But
we
anyway,
don't care what joysticks you play with as long as you buy from us. Anyway.
Okay, so this guy, he was a video game reseller, and I knew because he would sell at the local flea market. What he would do is, he would use us as his like exchange place.
Mm-mm.
So he would have like literally like, and I've seen his stuff before. He has like really shitty copies of everything,
Yeah.
like scratched up. So when someone would complain about one of his games, or like if he just felt like he needed to switch it out,
Mhm.
he would come to our store, buy that game,
Mhm.
switch discs, and then return it like the very next day.
Yes. Mhm.
And it wasn't in.
um,
Yeah, he would do that, and he would do that to all the local GameStops. And then at the same time, if we had a game on sale, he would come and buy like every copy for both consoles, so he could sell at his
At
little
full price.
stand. Yeah, and I remember I found out, and I got him banned from every single GameStop in the area.
didn't you have like a no refund policy on software? Like a lot of my shop, we never refunded software once it's been opened and used.
No,
never-
No.
He would buy
These for
used.
the used.
He's
Yeah.
buying used.
Oh man,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I get. No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
And-
used, you have a 24 hour. Was it 24 hours or I think
you have 7 days. No,
7
for used, you had 30 days.
Yeah, for used it was 30 days. For 24 hours, if it was unopened, for new games, unopened 24 hours, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Whoa.
But yeah, used games 30 days. If you bought it, there was a defect to it, you can return it, or switch it out for the same game, or yeah, your money back if I remember
Mhm.
correctly, if it
That's
was a
I
used
mean,
game.
look, to some extent, it's actually quite thrifty. It was quite clever what he's done, but it is dark
Mhm.
at the expense of
I
another
mean,
game.
you can't fault his shuffle.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can't fault his
your
hustle.
policy, he's taking advantage of it. That's the thing.
Yeah,
It wasn't the right. It was unethical what he was doing because it wasn't exactly the
yeah,
same product
but
as
it was
returning.
not against the rules. It was not
Yeah.
against the
No,
rules. He was playing within the rules then. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
But I
That's
think
it.
at one point we found out because we started marking the game we would give him.
Mm.
And then when he would bring it
Okay.
back and it wasn't the same one.
Mm.
So, and then his friend, oh,
Mm.
oh my God, his friend, so annoying. I remember one of the GameStops in the area had sold a Vita when it came out.
Mm.
They sold it too early. So
Oh, broke
he
the street
yeah,
date.
street date.
Okay.
So he came to ours expecting to get his, and we're like, we don't even have him in the back, and he was making such a big fuss about it. And I was like, literally, like to the point, like I was like, dude, like I said it without saying the word, but I was like, dude, like we don't fucking have it. Get
Mhm.
the fuck out. Like I don't know what you want me to do. Even if
Mhm.
we did have it, I'm not getting fined and I'm not getting fired for selling you something that's not even supposed to be out yet. I'm all that
Mhm.
person at that GameStop. That's their problem. I'm not doing that. And another time, he came in. Tell me how you come into a store like this. He came into a store. I think they had just announced Black Ops 2.
Mhm.
He came into the store wanting to pre-order the Black Ops 2 Xbox 360 console.
Mm.
Okay.
And I said, that doesn't even exist.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. It doesn't.
They didn't even announce anything like that.
Yeah.
And he's all, well, I want to pre-order it because I know for a fact they're going to announce it
Produce
and
it.
I want to be the
Okay.
one to have it.
Oh,
And I
okay.
was
So
like,
it hasn't
okay.
been announced yet. Okay.
No, and
Oh,
it
yeah,
never came
Secretly.
out. It was never a thing.
Oh,
yeah,
so it's never a thing. Oh, right. Oh,
KU
gosh.
And
doesn't
Okay.
he's
can't
and
pre-order
he
it. It's
he
still
was
not there.
getting heated
Yeah.
saying that he should be able to pre-order whatever he wants. And I was like, you cannot pre-order it.
No.
It's not in our system. It doesn't exist.
Computer says no.
Yeah, like what do you want me to do? I can't fucking make something happen for something that doesn't exist.
Mhm.
Did he have bad BO as well?
No.
No, luckily no.
No, he was just an asshole.
Well,
Mhm.
you can
Yeah,
smell,
because
you can smell the different shades, you know. So
yeah,
yeah.
I knew his younger brother because I went to school with him.
Oh
And he
man.
was an asshole too. That whole
Mhm.
Well,
family was just assholes.
the fair
And
birthright.
apparently they were friends with assholes, so
Mhm.
Oh,
Assholes
Yeah.
be assholes. Right.
Mhm.
If that's all for Sir Jose, how about Sir Joel?
All
Anything you
right.
want to help beyond,
Mm.
way beyond, and the ones that you don't like?
Nah, the ones that I didn't like were the ones that there's this famous clip on the internet of it's ma'am, the it's ma'am person on the GameStop. It that actually happened during my tenure at GameStop. It wasn't my store, but yeah, there are a lot of people who do come in. People I don't like helping are the ones who are there to cause trouble. They are there because they feel like they're entitled to your service, to your time. You're less than scum to them because you're a salesperson. You're not even a person to them. You are just there to serve them hand and foot. And you are supposed to be doing when they say jump, you're supposed to ask how high. They feel extremely entitled to your service. They feel extremely entitled to your time. They feel extremely entitled to the fact that if you are speaking to them, you're not allowed to speak to anybody else in the store, just them. There are a lot of people like that. There were a lot of people back then, and I dealt with them the same way that I dealt with anybody. I just dealt with them like, I'm sorry, I have to do this. You can look around a little bit and make sure that you get what you like, and come help you when you've decided. If the person is very belligerent about the fact that they are not getting the service that they like, I'm gonna I always tell them, I'm sorry, we're just doing our best here. If you're not happy with what you find here, there's always different game stops. Feel free to go to walk out the door. And they'll always threaten with bad reviews, and well, I'll say it's no money off of my pocket. go ahead. GameStop will take the hit, and in the end of it, it's just one customer that's not going to buy from them out of millions. You're not a loss.
Mm.
So that's what I tell them, and it usually shakes them and says, "This guy's not taking my shit." So yeah, he or she calms down, and they always kind of realize that they're being assholes. They almost always do, but the ones that do walk out, no big loss.
Not
The
false.
ones that
People say you don't want their money. You don't want their money. People like they're not worth the hassle because there's the hassle
exactly,
in the long run. They're a lot.
precisely.
They're not. They're not like I remember having to deal with this really obnoxious guy in an old
Mhm.
workplace. And this is I moved on from working for Dixon's and Curry's when I worked for the John Lewis Partnership. This is a
Mhm.
department store, very fancy one, and their expectations of customers were high. It's very upper middle class
Mhm.
clientele. People got laptops and things like that from the department, and my job was to make sure that their stuff was good. So one
Mhm.
guy was like, he just puts his laptop on the table, goes, "I want my money back." Well, you've had it for what's wrong, and then, they'd have all this entitlement with all this sort of stuff with it. And I remember talking to my manager, he goes, "Do you know what? I think we've just cut ties with this customer. Let's cut our losses. Let's refund the thing. I can easily resell this at whatever. He
Yeah.
can get, I'll wipe it and just sell it as pre-owned. He can go, I don't want his money." And she goes, "You're right. People like that, we don't want their money."
Mhm.
And we just refunded it. We just got rid of him because
Yeah.
people are
That's
just going to
that's called that's called firing a customer. That's called firing a customer. We don't need your money. We don't need the stress. We just, leave. There's 10 other people behind you who are more than willing to deal with us in a pleasant manner and give us their money.
This is it.
You're no big loss.
If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it.
Exactly. And the other kind of person that I didn't like dealing with were, obvious thieves. Because part of what GameStop was during my tenure there was you could trade in your cell phone for store credit and
Oh
some
yeah.
cash too. Yeah.
Oh,
There you go. The people would come in with obviously stolen cell phones. We would run through it and we'd say, "Oh, okay, so what's the password to this?" "I don't know. I don't remember." Okay, do you have a cord twist?" "No, I don't." And that it's stolen. So you just run it and you'd say, "Sorry, I can't take this, just you try it someplace else." It was obviously stolen, and I wouldn't be able to say that, but I'd say I can't take this because policy states that I have to be able to unlock the phone, format it, and then sell it
of course.
elsewhere. Yeah, but yeah, it was obviously stolen. I hated dealing with that because I wanted to scream in their face, "Dude, you just deprived somebody of their property, and you're trying to profit off of it." So yeah. Now the people that I did like dealing with were, needless to say, the hot chicks,
I knew
because
he
of the
was going to
fact
say
Hot shit.
that.
yes, because Jose knows me. But the thing about it is not directly because of the fact that they're hot, because of the fact that that they were shopping for their boyfriends. And it was so easy to sell to them. You sell to them, "Oh, your boyfriend's gonna love this. Your boyfriend's gonna be so happy when you get this for him." And there was no way that the boyfriend was ever going to say no to what they were gonna be giving to them as gifts. Basically, you made the boyfriend happy, you got the girl's money, and even if the boyfriend had a complaint that the girl got an Xbox 360 game for a Xbox One game for a PS4 system, he'll still be happy. He'll never have the chance to return. What is he gonna say? "Sweetie, this isn't what I like." Now, if he's got a hot chick for a girlfriend, he's never gonna contradict that. So it's an easy
Right.
sell. You made money off of it. I loved selling to the hot chicks because you made so much bank.
What if a hot chick is the gamer?
Oh, never.
Never.
Never
It
happened.
never happened, guys.
I mean, the
Okay,
one
it
time.
never happened. A hot chick and also a gamer.
Mm,
Never.
never. I mean, the one
Not
time that
that
it
they're
did
never,
happen.
never, but
I mean,
there are they are a very rare case, but they
yeah,
are out there.
yeah, the one time that it happened is she was my coworker in GameStop, and
Your
the
wife's
the fact
listening to this,
is,
yeah? So be careful, yeah?
people would come in just to hang around with her. People would come in just to buy from her, just to hang around with her, her name was Kat, and they would just come in and people would just buy stuff like crazy. All the nerds would be lined up just to speak to her, and and it would just be so easy to sell them because they were so starstruck with her because of how pretty she was and everything. So it was just so easy. She was making so much sales. Although like I said to Viraj, things were very different with us in GameStop. We didn't get commissions. You did. We did not. It didn't matter how many games we sold. It didn't matter how many Xbox Ones we sold. We still got paid the same amount. I'm not quite sure what the structure was with Viraj's store. But it didn't matter for me. In the end of it, it was just the fact that it was I was just getting my store discounts. That was it.
Yeah, it is
All
what
right.
it is. Yeah.
We still, I think we can squeeze in at least two more questions
Yes,
here.
go ahead.
Speaking of stolen, we got one here in the chat
Mm,
from Two Wheel 360. So he says he used to work in a Data Blitz. So Data Blitz
oh
is
yeah.
our local game shop in the Philippines.
Hmm.
Okay. Speaking of which, Miss Hinu's brother used to work in a Data Blitz as well. He
Hmm.
couldn't make it for today. Just putting it out there.
Hmm.
According to Two Wheel 360, one of the Data Blitz branches in the south experienced some shoplifting. A week later, a customer who knew
The
the
store.
shop staff calls in and says they found the shoplifters online selling the stuff they stole. And then
Mm.
there's a whistleblower um, who stepped up. Okay. Question now would be: do you guys experience any shoplifting in your shop? Because in our shops here, I'm not sure the years before, but they usually just take out of the games the disc anyway, the disc and the cartridges away from the cases. So it's just
Hmm.
the cases there. Once you want to buy something, then that's the time they going to take the cases out from the drawers. Shoplifting, guys. Any experiences at all? Sir
We call
Viraj, go.
yeah, we call them shrink. Anyway, go Viraj.
Yeah, I was the number one shoplifter in my shop.
He can admit to that in public now.
No, I didn't. I didn't steal anything. I was a good guy, to tell the truth, because I always had this mantra in my head, which was, you'll steal one thing, you get away with it, then you become a habit, and you start stealing other things, and that's when you get caught. So I
Yeah.
said, no, we don't never steal it. I didn't want to do it. But no, we did have a lot of things going wrong in that Walmstow branch that I worked in, that first shop. And when we had the new manager, that stopped. And it's to do with poor management, and that's because he was marketing things wrong. Um, he knew the video games. Well, obviously, we keep empty cases out, and the disc and the manual would be kept elsewhere. And then when the guy would buy the last one in stock, it would be that one on display. And then say with Nintendo Game Boy Advance, we'd have like these like hard cases that slide into, and they have security tags and things like that. So it was actually very hard to steal for us when it came to video games. But there was one guy, and this is a true story. And the theft was actually another employee that I worked with, and I won't name him because he's not worth naming him. He stole two silver PS2 Slimlines, or were they black? I can't remember. And I remember seeing the boxes in the sort of upstairs storage area, the warehouse area, and I noticed that they had been opened and that there were no PlayStation 2s in them. And another colleague of mine, I'll name him, his name's Michael, he clocked it as well. And we're all going out for a night out. And as we were leaving the mall, because the shop was in a mall, that colleague was talking to one of the security in the mall, saying, "How's your PS2?" So obviously he'd actually taken it for the security in that mall. That place I was in was so corrupt, yeah. And then basically, we knew he stole them at that point. And Michael snitched on him because he hated him, because he basically had an affair with Michael's girlfriend, so he was out for him anyway. So there was
The cold play, the cold play cheating. Okay, go.
yeah. So basically, because this other guy had like done the dirty with Michael's girlfriend or like done something awful to him, he was like, "Screw this guy! I love working with him." And even though it's like a tough thing getting someone fired, Michael just did it. He told the manager, "Look, this guy's stolen two PS2s." And in the end, like the day he was getting fired, I kind of knew it because my manager said, "Viraj, I need you to hold the fort for me because me and this guy, we're going to be upstairs today. We've got a meeting today." And I knew, okay, he's been snitched on. And I went upstairs for my meal break, and then I walked past the office. He's like, "I didn't do it. It wasn't me." I was hearing all this stuff, yeah. And as he left, like this is the bit I shouldn't be saying, but like I'm not in the company anymore. I'm happy to say it. As I saw he was getting dismissed and he'd left because he couldn't trust him anymore, even though there wasn't evidence. And the manager can sack you on grounds of trust or whatever. I was in the manager's office and I had to drop off some bags in there. And I saw a list of names, and I was on that list as well of suspects for this stuff that was stolen. I was the least likely to nick it, and the reason was Viraj likes games. And then the next one was this other guy I worked with. Who goes, he's lonely and he likes games. And there's like, he's lonely, he needs friends. And it was like all the reasons why he was stealing it. And it got to that guy and it was hilarious. Like he had no, like there's this guy, he wrote this guy off, yeah, as being an absolute loser, which is why he stole it and why he came to the conclusion that this guy had to get sacked. And I was like, fourth on that list or whatever. But it's like so funny how I was like at the bottom, but I was the one who was really into games. Like, Garage is really into games, but I would never steal anything. And I think the manager got me right because I would never do it because it's just not in me to do that. I couldn't steal from the mouth that's feeding me. I'm not going to do it. You know, that's just so wrong. And when he got fired, Michael was like, the guy Michael, bless him, yeah. He was like, everyone said, oh, you're a snitch, you're that. Because all the other colleagues turned on him. Like, no, F you guys. That guy took 2 PlayStation 2s. Who's paying for that? We're paying for that because that's going off on the P&L. Okay, that's going towards our we made as a store. That affects our team bonus, man. That bastard stole from us. So Michael had every reason to do that and get that guy fired. He was a piece of shit for that. So,
definition of terms: P&L being profit and loss statement.
Yeah. So
okay.
I was angry at the attitude of some of the colleagues saying, "Oh, Michael's a snitch. You shouldn't have done that or whatever." I mean, no, like he had every reason to do that because it all affects us, and you know, like it was the right thing to do because people like him shouldn't be employed here. People like him should be in prison. That's the truth, or it should be, you know, whatever. In the end, that guy resigned or whatever. He works at a key cutting shop now, but at the end of the day, as long as he's away from me, that's fine. Because he was an obnoxious person and he had bad BO as well. So he's gone. But it was horrible. Like it was like that you had to work with someone like that, and it was a horrible thing for Michael to have gone through. So mad respect to you, Michael. I know you're not listening, but I know you're up there doing what you're doing now because I've separated, we've gone down separate ways. But so in terms of dealing in theft, that was my incident that I had to do with.
I thought he was dead for a minute when you said.
I know. I was.
I know.
I don't think he's anymore because he's moved on. He's still in the company.
You know what? Who knows?
And then
Maybe Michael is dead somewhere in a ditch.
And then Michael comes over and says, "Viraj, I'm not dead yet."
No. Anyway, that's my story.
Okay, yeah, there you go. How about you, Jose?
Jose,
Go ahead.
Any shoplifting related stories? Go.
A lot of the time it would happen and we wouldn't even notice until it was time to do inventory. Yeah. And then you would be like, oh, like this is gone, okay, whatever. And then a lot of the times we would see people do it like too, like, but we can't do anything about it. Like we're not supposed to go after them, and even if we did, I don't get paid enough for that, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, what if he pulls a knife?
Seriously,
put the hole
so
on.
like literally,
okay. Yeah.
So like if you grab something and you walked out the door, whatever.
GameStop's not going to pay for your health coverage.
You
No.
don't have one of those alarm thingies?
No, a lot of the time. No, they didn't have. A lot of the time, it was stuff like on those little pegs.
On the pegs,
lock.
yeah.
The pegs.
And what they would do is
just rip it off,
or they'd bring scissors and cut it.
Yeah,
and it'd usually just be controllers, or like they'd steal like a Funko or some random item that was near the front of the store. That was it. I would catch occasionally people stealing the cases, but I'm like, why are you gonna steal a case? Like, if you asked, I would.
There's something in there. Yeah.
Yeah. If they asked, I would be like, here, let me just make a copy, like a stupid GameStop version, and then you can have that one.
Yeah.
Right. How about you, Sir Joel? Any shoplifting stories that you can share?
No, much like Jose, you would not find it until you did the count. And usually they would just, during my time, GameStop was heavily into plastic Chinese trinkets because they were transitioning. They were noticing that they were making a lot of their profit off of video game merchandise rather than the video games themselves. If you sold a Sailor Moon mug, that's what, pennies to cost to buy, as opposed to somebody who's willing to buy it for $30 or something like that. So that you would somebody would steal that. You would do the counts. It would be it would be marked off, and in the end of it, you really can't do anything about it. Like Jose says, you can't go after them because these video game stores will not pay for you to get a faucet put
Mm.
into
All
you
right.
by
Yes,
a
there's something like that.
yeah
Yeah.
by a drug addled crazy. So in the end of it, you just if you actually catch somebody doing it, you're not supposed to go after them. You're supposed to just call the police, and they're supposed to take care of it, file a police report, an insurance claim or whatnot. But yes, in
Oh.
terms of shrink, luckily nobody has ever done that in my store as somebody who worked there. Nobody's ever done that. Nobody had ever done that because of the fact that we worked on a high trust environment among us. Like I said, we would sing the Pokemon theme song all together if that happened. Um, the shrink was relatively minimal. The big ticket items like the PlayStation 4s, the Xbox Ones, we were all stashed in the back. If you bought one, then you would have to pay for it upfront before you would pay for it upfront before whoever it is goes to the back and gets a unit from the
Yeah.
back and scans in the serial number. If it's a high ticket video game, it would be in the drawers, which would be locked. And yeah, lots of strong security measures back in the Philippines, back in the Philippines that are implemented there. That sorry, in the U.S. that are supposed to be implemented in the Philippines, but I don't think they're happening anymore over there. But I
Mhm.
don't quite know what it is with Data Blitz. But yeah, in GameStop, they are very. If somebody's going to take something, you just let them do it, and we'll just account for it in the P&L. And sad to say, the P&L, the profit and loss statement, does take a hit.
The
Mhm.
Sir Joel knows this because we shopped together in the Data
Mm,
Blitz like a couple of
yes.
years back,
Mm,
and unfortunately, with Data Blitz, they don't keep the games themselves in the drawers. They
no,
still keep them
they're still very much out.
within the case, so
Hmm.
it's just there. But most of them are hidden, are pretty much stashed inside a locked
Glass,
cabinet, and
yes,
then you
glass
just ask
cases.
one of the clerks to get it for
Hmm.
you.
Yeah.
Although there are still some shelves out there, and the games are still
Mm-hmm.
in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not unlikely that every once in a while some people might yoink it
Mm-hmm.
out of the shop.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Data Blitz, you really should, it's easy. It's a preventable thing, but I think one of the main reasons why they don't do that because some Filipinos don't like their games being unsealed.
Mm-hmm.
The feeling. That's the only reason I can think of. I mean, like, why would you even keep them inside the cases if you know there's a risk of them being stolen?
That's correct.
Like,
Yeah.
for example, if I buy a game in Data Blitz and they will they will give me like, okay, they'll give me the case, then they'll put the game in there. Preferably, I like it sealed. Okay, I mean the workaround would be ask the clerk, "Oh, can I get a sealed copy?
Mm-hmm.
Not this one." Sometimes they would do that. Sometimes they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, um, I will ask one last question. Uh, I'm gonna mix it this time because apparently asking for insider trading in a game shop is stupid.
Dumb. It's the dumbest question there is.
All right, so I'm gonna. We all consume. We're all consumers here, and you guys who lived it uh,
It was a
as
wonderful
game
time.
associates. All right. What can you tell the common consumer in regards to collector's editions and pre-orders that us consumers don't know aside from the usual in a video game shop clerk employee's point of view? What new information can you tell us that we don't know about in regarding with pre-orders? Dealing with pre-orders and collector's editions.
Are we
Let's
talking
start
about
with Sir.
are we talking about in today's world or the world back
Back,
then? What it was like?
back then and now.
All right, so there's a big difference, obviously, as we know, with the way video games have gone, and this is just a sad fact, which is really the collector's editions back then were better and superior. They were of a qualitative order than what we have now, and this is something that's happened in recent years where I'll pick on Nintendo, shall I? once upon a time, there was this game called Metroid: Samus Returns. This is a 2017 game. Okay, this is still a modern release, relatively modern. And it came in a special Legacy Editions thing. And with special editions, you have to keep your eye on the ball because sometimes they're not even all going to be available in the shop. Sometimes they'll only be available from the video game manufacturer online. So you have to keep your eye on the ball. If there's a certain franchise or a game series you want, just do your research because the only person who's going to know what they want is you, right? So this Samus Returns game came in a special edition set, and there's only one print run that they had in UK, Europe, and they were about £60. The games were 30, but it's £60 for the special edition. It came with the soundtrack CD, it came with an art book, it came with a key ring, it came with a pin badge, it came with a poster, it came with a steel book. Right, you had a lot in this set. This is a proper special edition. It was only £60. And now I've sold it recently, and it's not even been 10 years now. I sold it recently for £180, that same set, because I looked after all the bits and pieces inside. So I'll say to a collector, look after all the bits and pieces inside because it'll keep its value. Obviously, play the game if you want, but obviously you want to play the game. It's the thing. Keep everything in good condition. So that's what I would say, whether you're buying one yesterday or today. But now I bought Metroid Dread Special Edition. All I got was a little steel book and a lovely art book. The art book was lovely, but that's it. You're not getting a lot with the special edition. So the older special editions were of a higher qualitative order, but they may have had a much more limited print run because of the production costs. And I think now, in terms of special editions, don't get confused with limited edition because you wonder how limited they are. It's just become a marketing ploy. They're not that limited. In fact, there's so many of them. But in all fairness, it's always good to get one because it helps with the resale value of a game. When you've had fun with the game, especially if it's Nintendo, it will typically hold its value, to be fair. For some reason, there's just something with that Nintendo branding which just holds other than the other brands. But it's always good to just get the special editions if you can and pre-order them because after the run is gone, you're just not going to get them anymore. And as time goes on, I think that we're going to enter an age where, obviously we're entering an age now where physical is becoming very hard to find because the media is not there anymore. And it's just becoming harder and harder. So if you really, really want something, it's going to become more and more limited. The price of that limited one might be a bit higher, but just buy it day one and be done with it. Don't prevaricate. Just buy it. Just buy it. That's what I would say to anyone wanting a game as a special edition. They see the price, they want it, just get it. That's what I have to say.
Right. Thursday, what can you tell us, the consumers, that we don't know about in regarding dealing with pre-orders and collector's editions in your shop?
Probably just the same things that Raj said. Like, if you really want something, do your research as to where it's going to be available and put the money down on it, because as soon as those pre-orders are done, you're not going to, the chances for you to get one are going to be like slim to none. Like my GameStop, we did have like one or two collector's editions. Even like years after the game came out, there'd still be some collector's editions sitting around. But for the more popular games, you're not going to find those. You're going to have to end up paying someone like this guy a lot of money for them. Unless you trade for sexual favors, apparently.
Oh,
But, go at the back. Meet me at the back near the dumpster.
Yeah, meet me in the back to hit the back. Anyway.
Listen, I got offered a sexual favor. All right, this is when the PlayStation 5 came out. That's a true story. One of my friends, I'm not going to name him because it will get gunned. It will get like, he offered, like, I'm not going to say what it was. He offered me a sexual favor, but because the PlayStation 5 was so limited, okay, there weren't that many on release, and COVID was like such a downer that year. Everybody needed that high, and let's be honest, that high was the PlayStation 5 at the end of the year when it came out. And only if you pre-ordered would you have got one. That was a global thing. There was a semiconductor shortage, and there was all sorts of things that happened with that. It was in my opinion, it was a bad release, in all fairness. But people wanted it, and they were crazy for it. And I paid £450, and I did not even have to put it on eBay. I have a friend I got a nerdy friend circle, and I knew who's interested in this. And I just went out and said, okay, so this guy is asking for, I'm happy for this much money for it. And I started at £700. And then the other one was like, no, I'll do 800. And there's another one who said, look, I can do more than 900. And there's one guy goes, look, I ain't got the 900. I said, this guy in Qatar's offered me £901 for it now. So that's him at the top. It's not. No, I'll give you a blowjob. I'm like, what? Doesn't say your favor, yeah? And then one of my other friends goes, hey, don't turn it down, man. It's COVID times, yeah?
Oh
Like,
my goodness.
to get one of those, man. It's hard to get like anyone to come over to your house. He's offering you this, right? No matter. That's what somebody said to me. My friend Mia goes, "A mouth is a mouth." You know what I mean? You might want to take it. You might have some skills. You know, like get out of here, man. No BJ is worth that much. I'm taking £901.
And that's when Viraj awakened. Anyway.
But
Guys, come on. You can still get COVID by getting a blowjob. Okay? From an infected person. Okay, contact precautions must be observed. Sir Joel, is there any inside machinations in a game shop in a GameStop that
Oh.
us consumers don't know in regarding with pre-orders and collector's editions?
It was actually it was very it was pushed pretty hard for us because the profit margin was bigger when it comes to the collector's editions and the limited editions. um Two Wheel 360 did say standard editions are easy to pre-order, no problem there, but collector's editions and limited editions are exactly that. They have very very finite number available from our distributor, and the profit margin was actually larger there. um During my time at GameStop, the collector's edition, limited edition, we only got the exact number that people pre-ordered. We always warned people, if you want it, pre-order it, because there are not going to be any extras. And they'll say, I'll just wait around for the day itself, because I'm pretty sure somebody's not going to pick up their pre-order. They never ever have any extras. The people who do pre-order always pick it up, and whoever says that they're going to wait for release day, they always get upset. Oh, why didn't you keep one for me? Why aren't there any extras or whatever? We'll say,
Yeah.
dude, we said that there would not be any extras anymore. So yeah, it's just
more
not
that way.
there. Even if you want me to magically conjure it out of thin air, it's just not going to happen. We warned you that if you want a special limited edition pre-order of Red Dead Redemption 2 with the shot glass and with the whatever it is, with the horse's head, then you have to pre-order it, because no extras are coming in. If you want to take a chance, you can call every other GameStop there if they have an extra one that wasn't picked up. But I doubt that they're going to sell it to you, because the policy is the pre-orders have to stay a particular time for the person to be able to pick it up, because it's their money. They reserved it for themselves. Sorry to say, you're SOL if you're not gonna pre-order it. And we always use it as a sales tactic, but a lot of people never bite onto it. Although a little bit of a, like Jose did say, uh, if you are good friends with whoever it is who's a game shop clerk, there are some that have special limited editions that people did not pre-order for, that are stocked in the GameStop, and they do keep them in a special cabinet where they are special limited editions that just didn't sell at full price. Some people are just waiting for that special or limited edition box set with, with the fancy towel, to be given away with it, for it to go down, to become clearanced out. And that's when we attack, me, Jose, Viraj. That's when we pay for it. But yeah, for the high demand items, like let's say Red Dead Redemption 2 with the whatever special items that are packed into it, the serial counted ones with with the limited release, number 456 out of 1,000, you're just not going to get it unless you put down the money for it. It's $5 to pre-order something. $5 to have the assurance that you have the special limited edition thing, or $25. I don't even remember it anymore because it's been so long. But if you pre-order it, at least you will have the assurance that you'll have it.
Yeah.
It's a good sales tactic to use. I'd say out of the 10 people we pitch it to, maybe about 5 do it, maybe at a good day. But yeah, pre-orders, they were really very adamant about pushing it to people, because the stress of people coming in and flipping out because they couldn't find the special edition on day one it's just not worth the hassle. Yeah.
I never understood why people like in my store we would have people who would pre-order special editions or collector's
Hmm.
editions,
Yeah.
and then like 6 months, a year down the road, they would come and trade it in. And like I said
Mm-hmm.
earlier, like they would literally bring everything, and we would either be like, "Do you want to keep all this stuff because this doesn't add value? We're just
No.
paying you for the game."
You know, the extras, the big box,
Yeah,
the special extra little items, the action figure that comes with it, the Wolfenstein action figure. It doesn't add value. They just
yeah,
say, "Oh, just take it." You know.
yeah. So I have to have.
The people have problems with their money. They've got problems with their finances. I think that must be it. That's the only reason they're desperate for the cash. They need it, and they have to sell something beloved, or they don't love it too much, and they realize, or it's taking up too much space, and they need to get something else in the room, or they got a woman in the house giving them a hard time for it. You know what I mean?
There's also that. Yeah.
I know, like Viraj was talking about, like collector's editions now, and I've seen this a bunch of times on PS5, where it's a collector's edition, and it doesn't even come with a disc of the game. It comes with a download code.
Yes.
Sonic Mania was famous for that. You've got this lovely statue of Sonic or whatever, and it was just a download code. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, like my friend bought, I think it was the newest God of War and the newest Horizon collector's edition, paid hella money for them, and it comes with a steelbook too for some reason, and then it just has a code in there.
That's just pathetic.
Little story. I do remember one time. I don't quite recall the exact circumstances, but there was this one guy who traded in an entire collection of, I don't recall, like PS4, a stack of PS4 games, and we took him in. You know, the way it is. You know, what can and then later on, the guy's brother comes in and says, "Dude, my games are gone. Did somebody trade this in?" And he listed out exactly the ones. We couldn't do anything about it. It was basically stolen merchandise. We had to report it to the police. We can't refund the guy because it's not the same guy who claimed it. But yeah, store policy says that we have to call the police. So things like that happen. Lots of crazy stories like that happen where it's not even the person who owns the stuff who trades it in. And yeah, either the dude wanted cash for it, it's just plain old theft and everything, but whatnot. Yeah.
So Joe, when people would trade into your GameStop, what was what would you guys need from them?
Oh, yeah. Basically, it would just be some. It wouldn't even be They wouldn't even be carded. They would just trade it in, plain and simple. Luckily, yeah. The only time that you would be carded would be if you were trading in a cell phone. That was the high ticket item. The basic video games, we wouldn't card you. What would we do with the information? You're just trading in stuff.
Okay, I know over here in California, we were basically treated like a pawn shop. So we would have to take their ID, and we would have to fill out a pawn shop slip, and get fingerprint.
Now, in our case, now it's like PS4 games. Just toss them into the bin. Just give the person store credit or money. In the end of it, we don't care. What would we do?
You know who had like a nice trade in. I don't know if they still do it. I did it once to try it out. Best Buy would let you trade in games, right? And they would actually give you a month if you changed your mind.
Oh, that's a good policy. Yeah.
So they would keep them in the back, like in a bag.
Yeah.
And like, say you changed your mind, you would just have to pay them whatever they paid you, and then you could get your games back.
About the only thing that we could do
to still get it back. Okay.
Yeah, the only thing that we could do to mitigate that was we had a 1 week holding policy. If you traded something in, it would be kept in the bin for a week, and then it would be put out the week after, so that there's the off chance that if somebody actually did trade in stolen items, then the police would get involved. But yes, the items would still be there.
For us, it would the games would go immediately for sale
onto the floor. Oh,
consoles,
okay.
Consoles, we had to wait a month before we could sell them.
Oh, okay. In our case, it was a week for the games. It trades in. Next week, it would be stickered out and then put out on the floor. That would about the only thing that would mitigate it. And about there's another story about this kid coming in and selling off all of his old Super NES games, and we couldn't take them because we weren't. We were only taking retro games only up to a certain time, and
Yes.
and the other person who saw it was Super Famicom games, Super NES games. He looked at it and said, "Dude, I'll buy them from you." And we told him
Go ahead.
no business can be done inside of the store. You guys are gonna have to step
Ah,
out,
go
and
it outside.
yeah, you guys are gonna have to do it outside. But
Go at the back of
nobody
the
could. Yeah,
dumpster.
exactly. There you go. Basically, that you could not. The other dude was paying the other dude for
Right.
for good price for his
Now
stuff.
that's
But
another insider trading right there.
you cannot do trade. You cannot do business
Trade
inside the
business.
GameStop. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. There you go.
The on that too, I
Mm.
had someone come in and they were trying to sell a Game Boy Advance and a bunch of Game Boy Advance games, mostly Pokemon games. And it was around the time that we had just stopped taking Game Boy Advance games. So I was like, you know what? I was all like, I'll have my wife meet you at the Starbucks next door. I'll give you $60
Mhm.
and
For it.
it. And he was like, okay. I remember one time someone brought in a stack of original Xbox games,
Mhm.
and I was like, I can't take these. Like, we don't take them. And he's like, well, I don't want them. You keep them.
Yeah.
So I was
That
like,
happened
okay,
too.
thanks.
Oh,
They're mine now.
Exactly.
nice.
Yeah, but the insider trading thing, there was one thing you could see.
Go.
You could see how things would be priced, like trading wise, so you could take advantage of it. So, but there. I have one story where I took advantage of it, and then there's one story where GameStop was super shady as fuck. So you would know ahead of time when trading deals were happening. So there was one where it would be like, oh, you can trade in your console and get 50% more. And I remember watching the thing on the computer, like seeing what the price was. Right as that deal hit, the price for the console changed so that when you got the 50%, it was the same amount that they would just give you a few weeks ago.
Exactly. Yes.
So they were making you seem like you were getting more, but you weren't. And then there'd be those times where you would see, it'd be like they'd have that deal where you trade in 3 games, you get 20% more. Trade in 5 games, you get 50% more. Trade in 7 games, and you get 70% more. And there was this time where it was Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2, and like two or three other games that were selling for like 40 to 60 used. Walmart was selling them for $10 each. So what I would do is I went to every Walmart in the area and bought the PS4, PS3, Xbox One, Xbox 360, Wii U version of every game, and opened them because they had to be open when you trade them in.
You can't trade in new games.
And I went to every single GameStop.
Oh.
At the end of the day, I had like $800 in store credit.
Yeah.
And I only spent like maybe $100.
No,
Sweet.
So I totally understand. Like, same sort of thing with me. I suppose this relates to inside trading, which is I knew that Game Stores Group, all these other shops, would offer me more money for the clearance crap I had at Dixon's. So I'd buy games cheap, and they would clear out because the shop I worked in, they thought, you know what? If it's not selling, we lower it, we get rid of it, and we get new stock and make money on it because it's had its time. We'll shift it for £5 or whatever it is. And you could buy them and then trade it in at another shop, and they'd offer you double that money. They'd offer you £20 for that game, and they'd take back new games, a lot of these ones. But the fact is, our company didn't want to know that you were doing it. We're not allowed to do it. It's actually against the rules. But if they didn't see it, it didn't happen. You know what I mean? So you go there, and there are a lot of people who work there, and they do it. And you know what? Kudos to them. As far as I'm concerned, it's your product, it's your business, what you want to do with it. Yeah? And if there are policies where you can take advantage of things, so you should. Because these shops, let's be honest with it. Let's be honest, guys. Even though I've got commission and things like that, these are not high-paid jobs. Yeah, you gotta pick a pocket or two. You know what I mean? And we're not like talking. This is not theft or fraud. This is just another way to do things. All right, taking advantage of our positions here, and that's why we should. We never got paid a lot of money doing these sort of jobs. We worked hard in those shops. But I think there's a comment here by Baron Noiker who says, "Have you checked at the back?"
Oh yeah.
If I had a pound for every time someone's asked me to check at the back, I'll be very
Check at the back.
No.
I've got my steps in. I'll probably walk a mile checking at the back for these people. You know, because You know, and
No.
to be honest, it's not
Not
bad.
only he
I'm-
takes it at the back, he
I'm
takes it in the
No,
back.
I'm
take it.
surprised Raj didn't use that as a quick smoke break. Did you check in back? Oh, I haven't done that yet.
No,
Let me
there
take a
was an
moment. And
there was an incident where I got so annoyed with the customer. I thought, oh, I need to go to the loo anyway. So I'm gonna go to
Mm,
the loo, do what I got to do, and then check for them, and
yeah,
then see if they're still waiting. And that happened. I was like, gone for a good.
exactly. Yeah, you say, oh, I haven't done that yet. Let me
Yeah.
check, and then you go to the back, and then you take a moment to rest, and then you say, go back out and say, sorry, I
Not,
did.
not nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, no.
There's nothing.
What do you think? And I said,
Uh,
check at the back, just check.
all right. The only reason why I asked that question, I was given the impression before that the video game shops would at least keep one or two collector's edition of a certain game when it gets announced, but
Mhm.
apparently not really, because shelf space and all that.
No,
That's why pre-orders happens, right?
sometimes
Uh,
the manufacturers or the publishers would not want to stock the shops. Like my shop had a beef with EA, where we'd stop selling EA games because they wanted us to sell that new Harry Potter game. I remember they wanted us to sell it for £50. This was Prison of Azkaban time, and in the end, like my company said, you know what, we take the Viraj. Like my manager said, take all the EA games off the shop shelf. That's how dark it got. We just put them all in a pile. We just refused to sell EA. That's how dark it got, and. In the end, EA realized, look, we can't be selling games for £50 new now. We're going to have to lower our buy because they were trying to sell it to Currys for like £30 or £40 to sell for 50, and that's just not commercially viable for a game like selling games. And we said, no, we're not going to do it. And then I think after 2 months, they realized they blinked first. Actually, we're losing money here because Currys or Dixon's, the company I work for, had a 3% market share in games in the UK. And that may not sound like a lot, but it was big business they were losing. And we could distribute a lot of their games to customers. So in the end, they bit first, and they said, all right, fine, we'll go back to asking the RRP to be $39.99 and we'll sell it at a fair price. Because it's ridiculous if your games are £50 and like you got all these other people selling their games for 40. It's just stupid. So there were times where actually sometimes publishers and the retailer would fall out, and we didn't get the full range of the games. We didn't get every game. We didn't buy in every game. We bought in most of them. And special editions, like I think Age of Empires 3, I got the special edition of that. There was just no way we could put it out on display. So it just remained at the back. Nobody knew we had it. So it was a £50 special edition pack for PC. I purchased it for £11.52 clearance. And I just bought it.
Right.
And it's probably worth more now with all that stuff in it than it was then. But hey, listen, I got to have my benefits, yeah? You know what I mean? Man's got to eat. So I have no guilt buying that game cheap because there's no way we could even put it out on display.
I don't know if it was like that for you, Sir Joel, but did your GameStop have the policy that if the collector's edition wasn't picked up in a certain amount of time, it went to the next person?
Yeah, actually, that to Two Wheel 360's point on the chats. Yeah, it happened a lot like that. When the Persona 5 Take Your Heart edition was advertised, the demand was so big that we actually had overlisted pre-orders without knowing had something to do with the audit we had or something. We had to call people that went beyond the pre-order list. Thankfully, they were very understanding, and we did offer that if any pre-orders cancel, we'll set it aside for them. By the time we told our stores to stop accepting pre-orders for Persona 5, we had over reserved about 50 plus people. We called each and every single one. Screw ups like that happen when when stores accept too many pre-orders and there's not enough. Sad to say, you have to call each and every single one and apologize to them. But we did have the policy that if somebody pre-ordered something and it sat in the store for, I think, close to about a month, if I remember correctly, I could
Oh
be
man,
wrong on that one.
shorter.
Yeah, yours is shorter. For the high demand items, it would be less, but for certain ones that aren't really high demand, a special edition item like, let's say, Fire Emblem Fates, if I remember correctly, can sit in the hold drawer for about a month until it gets released into the wild, and whoever comes in first who wants to buy it can buy it, and whoever comes in later on 6 months later and said, "Where's my pre-order?" and you say, "Sorry, it got sold. Here's your money back." If you spend way too much time waiting for your pre-order to be sold to you, I'm sorry, but it's just gonna go to somebody else. It's a business after all, anyway. You were about to say, Jose. I think you were
Yeah,
about to mention something.
our store, it was for like any collector's edition or special
Mhm.
edition,
Yeah.
you had 48 hours to pick it up.
48 hours. Wow, that's tough.
And then
Okay.
if it was a console,
Mhm.
5 days.
Oh, wow.
5 days if you didn't
Okay.
pick it up. And I remember that the game one, that's how I got my what was it Skyward Sword, the one that came with the gold
Yes.
with the gold Wii remote?
Yes.
Yeah, my coworker had pre-ordered it and a week had gone by and he didn't pick it up.
Mm.
And I told my manager, I was like, isn't it only supposed to be 48 hours? And she's like, yeah. I was like, I'm taking this as soon as I
Yeah,
clock out.
but your manager gave a special consideration because it was a coworker. Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
Now it's mine.
I'm going to close it. I'm going to close the episode with this. So we already went 2 hours and 30 minutes again. Two wheel 360s
Part
point.
2 in the future. No.
Oh yeah.
Part 2 in the future. In regarding with Persona 5. So when Persona 5 Royal was announced, I got the impulsiveness to get the collector's edition for it. And unfortunately, in our side of Australia, there's no Take Your Heart edition, but we do have at the time it was this one, the Persona 5 Royale Phantom Thieves edition. And mind you, I already got the standard edition anyway. But for some reason, I just wanted to have something a collector's edition of Persona, and so
Isn't there another one?
Yeah, and I check one of the EB Games website, and there's one close in having it stock, but I didn't pre-order it like online. I just went to the shop and then approached the counter and just take a look at the shelves. It's not there, so I had to ask the guy, "Oh, do you have this on stock?" According to the website, you do. And he said, "Okay, I'll double check." Got this from the back, and I said, "So how many of these that you have in there?" "Oh, it's just the one." Because apparently, so I asked, "So do you guys you don't usually put these outside so that people know that you have some of these stock there?" And they said, "No, not really."
No, because
So
RPGs just
there are times that there are some apparently there are certain games collector's editions anyway that they will put out there, and but most of them they just stay out. They stay inside of the shelf, inside the closet, in the back, unless someone asks for them, unless it's pre-ordered or set aside for somebody, or you're specifically going to ask them if they have it on stock. But otherwise, they won't. They won't display it.
You'll find that most shops now, they'll only get special editions if you pre-order it, and you'll only ever pre-order these things online because they're big, they're bulky, they take up space. How are we going to market this, or how are we going to present it?
They do. Right.
So you'll find as time goes on, these special packs and big box things, you find them fewer and fewer in shops as time will go on because they're just not lucrative and they're not moving fast. It's only for that particular buyer who wants to pre-order it or buy it online. That's it.
All right, and that's it, guys. It was a very fun, interesting show.
Yeah,
we still went overtime on this one. I was expecting that. I was expecting for this to happen, but hey, there's a lot of stories that these guys can tell us, even more. But of course, we don't really have that much time anyway. But let's end it now. Let's go with our
closing remarks.
Closing remarks and shameless plugs. Okay,
yes.
We'll start with Barrage. Closing remarks and where can they touch your grass?
Touch my grass. What is that? An innuendo for something?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. We're all innuendos here. Yeah.
But Raj is the only one who likes it in his endo.
Nintendo.
Well done. Okay.
But you'll find me on the Sega Genesis group on Facebook. If you'll find me loitering there. You'll find me probably trading at the Sheffield Gaming Market on the 3rd here in the UK, and there'll be one in Crawley on the 9th. I'll try and make that, but no promises. Yeah, you can find me on this little podcast here whenever I can join the P9 Retro Gaming crew. For Timeless Game podcast whenever I get the time and then do it. But it's been a pleasure talking about my time doing this and seeing just how much has changed and different experiences. All good to listen to. But yeah.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Viraj. Hashtag check the back.
Okay, look back.
So Jose, where can they touch your grass?
Let's see. Well, first off, to closing remarks on the game shop, it could be a fun place to work, and it does have some of its benefits. But be warned, there's always a bad side to these types of jobs. I remember I used to get there's a Starbucks next door, so my customers used to buy us Starbucks all the time just because they liked us so much. I brought to show this off on Show and Tell, but Game Informer.
Oh, the Game Informer. Yeah,
it's back.
it is. There you go.
And
Game
then,
Informer was owned by GameStop. Okay.
But then the guys who started it bought it back, and now they started it up again. I don't know if they started over the numbers, but you guys can find me on all social medias as Dark Gothic Fate, all gaming platforms as Dark Gothic Fate. Literally Xbox, PlayStation. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, all that stuff. I'm everywhere.
Nice.
You guys follow me everywhere.
Thank you for that, Sir Jose. Sir Joel, closing remarks, and where can they touch your gray grass?
Yes. Closing remarks is working in a video game store might be the dream for a lot of you young people, but trust me, it is hard. But you do learn a lot of good skills in working in a video game store. Marketing, planning, salesmanship. It's a good learning experience. It toughens up your skin, as something that a lot of people can stand to have nowadays in this world of ours. But yes, give it a go if it's for you. It's a good way to earn some extra cash. If not, then at least you learned a little bit about how real life works. You can always find me here on the Timeless Gamers Show, unless life gets in the way. And you can find me streaming a variety of games, whether modern or retro, on Rumble, on Kick, and on Twitch. Hashtag FUFB. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you guys want, you can discuss your personal experiences with video game stores as a seller or as a buyer in the chats here in live or after the show. Back to you, Joe.
Thank you so much for that, Sir Joel. And of course, thank you so much for Sir Jomar, Gummy, Two Wheel 360, Sir Dan Dice, as well. And,
Yes. And
Sir
everybody.
Josh Hunt, everybody. And of course, Retro Ed UK. Hey.
Yes.
Thank you so much for staying this long, hearing our former gaming associates talk about their shared life experiences working in a video game shop. And that's it, guys. That's the show for tonight. And as always, our games and our bodies may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. Check the back.
Timeless. All right. Enjoy the weekend, guys. Keep on
Yeah.
gaming, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye now.